Omni, what is up? I mean, I probably won't have, I might not have detractors, right? We probably won't. I mean, I'll give it just in case, right? I mean, we could always people could just join for a conversation. If there are no detractors, people could just join for a conversation, which is fine. But what's up, my brother? What is up? Thank you for being here. Thank you. Oh, I mean, I definitely try to be respectful, right? I definitely try to be respectful. I figured why not have people, have conversations is always a good thing. Having conversations is always a good thing. So, since I'm, if there's anyone join, if there's no one joining, it is what it is. I mean, sometimes that happens. That's why I don't do as many panel shows, because it's not like I always have people wanting to join a panel. But if no one joins, well, I'll just react to some videos, right? I'll just react to some videos and, call it a night, right? But let's check out some videos, right? There's this creator that I watch from time to time, so I like him. So let's check him out. Real Rain, what is up, my brother? What is up? If you ever want to talk about that, what was the topic, right? The topic we had the other day. I'm definitely down to expand on it if you want to talk about it on parenting and stuff. That'll be interesting. But we can have we can have a bunch of other topics too, right? If anyone wants to talk about any kind of topics, I am definitely down for it. All right, let's check out this video.
Modern discourse is that women are obviously more nurturing. Not because anyone has proven it, but because everyone feels it must be true. And what you're about to watch is a perfect example of how people confuse intuition, vibes, and word association with actual evidence. Watch how quickly definitions collapse.
I will say this, right? One of the things where I want to do my videos is to break preconceptions, right? I believe now we always have this preconception that women are more nurturing than men. I mean, could be true. It could be true, but I don't know if there's. I mean, I personally haven't seen any scientific studies on it. But I mean, if you think about it logically, I mean, women are with children more often than men. So by that, yes, right? What's up, my brother?
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, sounds good. So, you want to watch the video or you want to talk about the topic from the other night?
I'm down talking about the topic from the other night. The video is just for the hell of it. All right. Let's see. Um,
Well, let me just say something real quick for anyone who hops on the panel because I've noticed this with the past few times. When DA starts talking, we all have to be quiet. This is his stream. He allows us to be guests on his stream. So let's respect his platform.
okay. So if you guys haven't seen, I did I usually do this mobile live stream, right? Which is kind of sucky because they don't allow guests on, which I would love, but they don't, right? It's a mobile live stream, so you're doing a live stream on your phone. That's YouTube's thing. Um, but I usually try to do little debate questions, prompt questions, so I think it's usually fun. Recently, right, I had these debate topics, so I would love it if other people want to join on these debate topics while we're on panel, right? So if you guys want to join about these topics, and I have a bunch of others if you guys want to check it out, if you guys want to see if there's any other topics, we go definitely check out other topics. But I mean, these were the recent topics we had. All right. So again, for anyone who else wants to join, these are some topics we could talk about tonight. We could talk about a bunch of other things. So, like I said, okay, but I recently had a stream talking about parenting. Okay, agree or disagree, right? Soft parenting ruin children. Bring back smacking. There's a difference between discipline and abuse. Children shouldn't have privacy within reason. We need to instill fear and respect into children. And what's worse, an absent father or a terrible mother? So I think we had a little bit of contention with number 5. So I'm definitely down to let's expand. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah, well, like my premise is we have the information, we have the studies, we have the statistics that a single father household is better than a single mother household. And when we look at a terrible present mother, those actions of a terrible present mother, I think, can be negated by a present father. And I don't really that's just my opinion. But I think we as men need to start to understand our influence on children and how we can help fight back against terrible behaviors that we see in children, whether it be young men or young women. Because there's a reason why we have the term daddy issues. We really don't hear the term mommy issues anymore.
No, I mean, here's the thing where, and I will definitely expand on my premise with the question or with the prompt. I don't disagree. Correct. If you compare single father households with single mother households, single father households do better statistically raising children, right? Producing better functioning adults. But while I put this question is that at the end of the day, okay, let's say the two realities. Correct. I mean, hell, two-parent household does the best. So the best outcome you can get is a two-parent household. But we also talk about this, right? the reality. Okay, what we would love is, of course, a two-parent household. What we would love is probably, a father is more active in their children's life, but that isn't always the case. James, what is up? What is up? There's not an option. That is a fact. I'm not saying that fathers being in the children's life is not a fact. I'm saying that, to be honest, it's not necessarily life, right? It's not necessarily reality. Reality is that we do have a lot of single mothers, right? That's the reality. Reality is that we do have a lot of fathers that aren't in their children's lives, okay? And we have a lot of single mother household. That's the reality. Yes, we look at the stats that when fathers are in their children's life, it's a big benefit, no doubt. But in my opinion, is that I will say this, okay? There are people out there, right? Boys, men, that at the end of the day, the life they have, it's the way of life. If they don't have a father in there, okay, but they have a terrible mother, I think that having a terrible mother will always be worse than, let's say, an absent father. Because even if, let's say, because you got to think the opposite, right? If you have an absent father, but you have a great mother, well, that is not necessarily foolproof, but it's definitely a big, it's definitely a good thing. Okay, it's not a bad thing. But if you have an absent father, yet you have a terrible mother, it's definitely it's not going to be a good thing at all. So that's where the premise I go for, right? It's like an absent father. Let's say an absent father with a great mother, okay, but an absent father, but with a terrible mother, constantly present. I still think even if you have an absent father, but you have a great mother, doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be the best, but you'll be better off comparative if you have an absent father and a terrible mother.
Yeah, and have you seen that viral video that's been going around for like the last week of it's like the mother like talking crap to her daughter in a restaurant, and the daughter is just like bawling.
I didn't see that one.
Oh man, I'll have to send it to you on Instagram at some point. But like this little girl is just like bawling in this restaurant, just telling her mom like the mom's being mean, like stop talking to her like that and everything. And the presence of a father, whether it's like in a different whether it's single mom and co-parenting, whatever you say, in that situation, the father's presence would would help that girl more than that mother's hatred. Now, when you're saying a terrible mother with a absent father, that's a variable I didn't think of, but it is a variable that I think will lead to an absolutely horrible results.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it's that's a variable I didn't think of when you put in like the terrible mother with the absent father. So I'll have to kind of think about that for like a couple seconds. But even in that situation, the absent father not being there is just going to have it's going to amplify the terrible mother's actions.
No doubt, no doubt. This is the thing where I definitely agree, right? I definitely agree. A father is very important. Now, I mean, how I look at it, right? How I view it is, what I look at it is, right? I had an absent father, okay? I had a great mother. So, I mean, again, it took, to be honest, like my younger years as a man was terrible because even though I had a great mother, a mother doesn't necessarily will prepare you to be a man, okay? So that's why I definitely agree with that, okay? But even if I had a terrible father, I had a great mother, and it still took me time to be like on a journey to being the best man I could be, okay? So if I had a great father, a present father, that journey would have been quicker, right? I could have started that journey when I was in my teens. But instead I started that journey late into my 30s, right? Because I was a stupid young man, made a whole lot of stupid mistakes. Because yes, I probably because I had an absent father. but I had a great mother that, you know what, even though I had a terrible father, I still didn't, let's say, because I think about this on the flip side, right? Where we said stats have shown that, you know, although all single mothers don't produce criminals, but the majority of criminals, right, have come from a single mother household. So that's the thing where, or a good amount of criminals have come from single mother household. So for me, it's like, and I believe that that's probably shitty mothers, okay, plus absent fathers. So you got two things against you. So for me, it's like, yes, I had a terrible absent father, but I had a great mother, which honestly, it helped me not steering me to the path that, you know, it could have been worse. It could have been worse. So that's my mindset going into it. Yeah. So yes, I had an absent father, but a great mother that, you know what, there was difficulties because, like I said, you know, becoming a man, learning learning things of being of a man, it it was late. That's why I was a late bloomer, right? I was a late bloomer, and I think that's what happens to a lot of young men, particularly young men that have come from single mother household. They're being late bloomers. So that's my mindset going into it, right? That's why I have that question, because I think even though absent father is a bad thing, but I think a constant terrible mother is worse, and you see that because if you have a terrible mother, you're probably also going to have an absent father as well. So that's why you can see a lot of these young men go into, you know, degeneracy and bad shit. Okay, that's where I go for that.
Yeah, and James Green, 6376, he actually brought up a good point with the step parents. And
Yeah,
I will say that with step parents, it depends at the age of a child that the step parents comes into it. So,
yeah,
like, if the step parent comes in before, I would say 10, the step parent will have a good opportunity to influence. But I kind of feel like after 10, that's where like the kids' influence and all the bad habits have already been established. So
no,
that would be my answer to that one.
no, I agree. To be honest, I think like after 15, 16, it's too late. I mean, you probably make very little of an impact.
Oh, you put 15, 16. Like I think it's gonna like you have to if you're not in like the child's life at like age 10, because that's like kind of like let's just say like single mom got knocked up, was just like on her own at 10 years. That kid has been has the established routine of him being like the male figure in the family, and that and like in the female, and if it's a girl, she has the established like princess syndrome. So that's why I say age 10.
No, no, I agree with age 10. I'm just saying that, like, you know, once you hit a certain point, it's too late anyway, right? There's
At some
pretty
point,
no, there's
at some
pretty
point, you're not going to influence them.
yeah, not at all. Zyrax, what is up, my sister?
Is Iraq? Well, also because I think me and you we kind of like have an agreed disagreement, but like I kind of am interested in number 4. We
Number
need to involve fear and respect in the children.
Okay, I mean, like, this is the thing where I am definitely a number 4 kind of guy, right? I believe in that. Um,
Well, let me ask you, when you say fear, do you mean fear of the presence or fear of their actions?
fear of the action. I feel fear of consequences, right?
Fear
Fear
of
of
consequences.
That's what I think, right? That's how I go for it, where you fear consequences. You have a sense of fear of authority. You have a sense of respect of authority. So, real rain. I mean, Zyrax, love it. Shiba dog rising an arm. She's the emoji. Thank you. Thank you for the love. Yeah, and this is the thing where because I don't know about you, right? But I'm seeing this more and more. I don't. Goddamn, I wish I saved it. Right? There was a recent city, New Year's, right? During New Year's, hundreds of kids, like I don't know, 10 to 15, 10 to 16. They went wild, buck wild in the city. New Year's Eve, late at night. They destroyed the city up. I forgot, God damn it, I forgot which city. It might be Chicago or something, right?
I mean, it sounds like something that would happen in Chicago.
Yeah, it was just a recent. It was just recently happened in New Year's, right? And that's just another story. And I mean, a little while back, we've heard of like kids doing a lot of stupid shit, right? We already knew it. We already know these like the TikTok trends, like riding on the top of train stations. I mean subways and stuff like that, or lighting themselves on fire, or eating Tide Pods, or the crazy one where they run to the back of people and hit them in the back of punch them in the back of the head. I mean, there's so many things, and that these kids do not fear nor respect authority. They do not fear nor respect consequences. And we're seeing it more and more that these kids are running buck wild. And this is a thing where these kids have no fear of anything.
Well, I also think like when we say fear of consequences, I think we need to also teach them about how the consequences affect the people around them. Because like when I was younger and I was in my let's just call them hippie days, my dad had a talk with me and he just said like, "Yo, man, like I don't want you to go to jail so I don't see you." And that kind of hit me. So it's like the effect that me going to jail because I wanted to light up, like put it into perspective. And so I think when we say fear of consequences, we need to instill in them like the totality of the consequences, and not just the like, you'll go to jail, you'll ruin your life, you'll do this. When like just like, yo, like you don't want to be in jail when your grandma dies and you can't go to the funeral. Those are the type of consequences I think we need to be teaching them. But like we kind of look at it just like through the lens of like teaching them why it's bad for them. I think we need to reword it and to teach it why it's bad for the family.
This is a thing where I mean, this is why, like, let's say number two, right? Well, I say there's a difference between discipline and abuse. Okay, I believe abuse is you're just beating your child just to beat your child. Okay, where I say discipline is that, and I haven't done this in a long time because my daughter is an angel. She's a great kid. But there was a time when she was like quite pretty much young, and she did something that I had to, spank her for. But while doing it, I talked to her. Right? I'm talking to her, and I'm not like spank her to like really, leave a mark or anything, but it's to reiterate so you get you understand the consequence. You understand the point where this is bad, right? And it comes with some there's something more to it. Okay, this is why while you're spanking, it's talking, right? You're explaining. You're trying to give them some logic to the reasonings, right? The reasonings why you getting punished, why you got what's like you said, right? Know the consequences, understand it. So that is very important.
Well, you see, like I kind of can't talk to the smacking stuff because like my parents didn't really do smacking. My parents' discipline was they made us sit in push-up position, like basically a plank.
Okay.
That was our punishment. So we would have to sit in a plank for like 5 to 15 minutes. And anyone who's ever done a plank will tell you that's like you rethink all of your life's decisions. So I think like we don't necessarily need it to be. We need it to be consequential discipline. So where it's like when you spank, it's kind of like a one-time feeling, right? But you never forget how bad a plank feels. You never forget like the pain of doing 200 squats or having to do 100 push-ups before you can even sit on the couch. So those are the kind of things like I think we need to innovate our disciplinary methods to where it's not necessarily the old school spanking. That's what I would That would be my rebuttal.
Okay. I mean, Red Door, what is up, Steve? Thank you guys for being here. I also, before I respond, Zyrax, I have a topic that I would love, for you to join on if you would want to. So what I would say this, right? I think the innovation is like you add to it, right? Because I think we went where, we thought, for me, why do I say this, the spanking thing? Is that I believe that parents should have as much tools in their pockets, right, to help them discipline, right, to help them parent their children. Now, I'm not saying that, every job deserves a hammer, right? So that's how I go about it. I don't mean that, okay, you're doing a job, just throw away a hammer and never use that hammer again. That's how I go about it when it comes to, let's say, spanking. I'm not saying that, okay, hey, your child got an F in their test, start using a hammer on them. No, but I think here's the thing where I'm seeing this more and more. Children are not scared of nothing. So what do you do, right? Today, what do? We take away their iPhone, right? We take away their iPad. We tell them to go to their room. Okay, but we're seeing that that's not quite effective. Okay, certain way that we discipline for certain children is not leaving a lasting impression on a lot of them. Okay, so that's why I said that we have as many tools as possible in our pockets. Like another thing, when I was a kid, that my mom made me kneel like on concrete, right, for like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like she jumped to, all right, 10 minutes. All right, hopefully you come in 10 minutes. All right, because I think I have a good prompt for you that would be fun to talk about. Yeah, so I'm not saying that she didn't jump to start whipping you, but it's like I think it should have more tools in your tool belt, because again, some children might not even be bothered by, okay, you took my phone away, okay, whatever, you took you took my thing, you took things away, okay, whatever. So some children may not even care.
But kind of the reason I think my parents to use the fitness aspect of the punishment is because I would also gain, in a way, a benefit from it. So it's like, hey, you messed up, we're going to make you suffer, but at the end of the suffering, you're going to benefit and you're going to have learned a lesson. So that's why I kind of think we need to innovate it into a way where it's not like taking something away necessarily, but it's also establishing like a good habit with like, hey, like I can make a good habit unbearable for you.
No, I mean, to be honest, I thought, to be honest, what you said was quite innovative. Doing planking, or like, I don't know, have them run on a treadmill or do something, some form of exercise to like really, do it. I definitely agree. But I mean, we got to understand too, sometimes certain kids, well, it also depends, right? Because again, maybe, because I would say that what made you even do it, right? You had some fear or respect from your parents. I mean, like, I'm seeing kids hit their parents back, right? I'm seeing kids actually, put fists to parents. So if they have no fear, no respect of you, you could tell them to plank or kneel and stuff. They probably won't even do it. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and kind of like I'll just give you my thought process during when like I was having to do it, because my dad would say like 100 push-ups. After like 20 push-ups, you start reconsidering what you did, like when your arms are tired. Then when you get to like 50, you're like, oh my God, I promise I'll never do this again. And then by the time you get to 100, you just say, I'll be good because that was hell.
No, I definitely, you know what? I really liked your idea. I really did like your fitness punishment, because
Well, idea. Let's give the credit to my
yes, your
parents.
parents. Definitely your parents, because I didn't even think about that. I don't know why I've never even heard of that as a punishment. So that is very. I hope people will heard it, because to be honest, I've never heard of any parents doing that as a punishment. So that is very innovative.
Yeah, That's why we talk, dog.
And this is the point, right? We share these things with each other because that is important to learn those things. How's your daughter?
I mean, she's. I hope she's going to be the next great superstar in soccer, but I can only pray.
So she's active in soccer then? She's active in sports?
Oh yeah, man. Like you gotta remember, I'm a soccer loving hooligan, so like I wouldn't have been about to let her play anything other than that. But she's loving soccer. She's doing good in kindergarten. She's just. I'm trying to give her her best life.
I love it. I love it. Amazing. And this sort of thing where this is why I may say the discipline or the discipline part or the smacking part, but to be honest, I've only done it once, and my daughter's 13. So it's amazing if you have great kids. So in my opinion, right, if you've done parenting right, you don't even have to do it, right? You don't even have to get to that point, right? But all I'm saying is that you have that tool in your tool belt, but you don't.
Yeah, like I totally agree with you that like I'm not ruling that option out. I'm just saying that option to me is the nuclear weapon.
Yes, I agree. But that's the thing where you have to. But see, this is the thing where parents got to understand. You have to be a good parent, right? This is why you have to instill that fear and respect beforehand, which is be authoritarian to them, right? Have that power, make them sense that what you don't want to fear certain consequences, right? So make them know that there are consequences to your actions, because I think a lot of parents push off parenting or real disciplined parenting until too late, and then this is where you get those kids that don't fear nothing, right? They're because like at a certain point, your kids are too big to actually spank and even be meaningful, right? Because they don't fear anything anymore. I mean, like for me, like there was a certain point where my mom doesn't even bother like smacking me because she knows that doesn't hurt me, So that's the thing where a lot of parents neglect the early years are so important. So this is why I said that we need to a lot of these things have to be important before. And this is why I say, has soft parenting ruined children? And it has, because soft parenting is nice if you have both parents. Because why I say that? Because I believe the mothers should be soft parenting, while the fathers be the disciplinarians. The problem is we have mothers only soft parenting, and they barely could discipline, right? That's why I think soft parenting, or hell, we have both parents do soft parenting, which is honestly stupid because, I think a good cop, bad cop kind of thing in parenthood is the best for children.
I'm about to summon Alan. I think we need to get left wing thinking out of parenting.
Oh, that's the soft parenting thing. Okay, in my opinion, that's the soft.
Well, no. Let me expand on that. Like with like the soft parenting, I look at it like what you just said: good cop, bad cop. With left wing parenting, it's your feelings. Act on your feelings. Like go base your decisions off your feelings. How are you feeling? And it's like, no, don't act on your feelings. That's what being a human is: controlling your feelings, controlling your emotions. So you need the father to be like, this is why what you're feeling, you need to learn how to control. And the mother kind of being in like, hey, honey, this is how you control it. So it's like, but I really think we need to just like let the word feelings, like take the word feelings out of parenting, I think, in a way.
No, left wing parenting is soft parenting. They push.
Sorry, guys. It is.
Come on, girl, bring it up, because to be honest, a lot of we could say that. To be honest, this is why I think it's a great mixture, right? The whole right, because we always say, right? Usually, traditional relationship is the whole disciplinarian, or really the smacking stuff. That's old school kind of right wing. But I think it's a bit of both, right? Good parenting is a bit of both, where yes, bad cop, good cop kind of thing. But left wing parenting is that we just swipe that because you want to, what is it? Overcorrect, right? Left wing parenting is overcorrecting. We don't do nothing of the past. We completely, be friends with our kids. We completely, talk about their emotions. We completely, cater and make their emotions so valid and all that stuff. Like, part of that from parenting is that we're getting boys being weak, boys thinking that they're girls.
Yeah, and like I'm really about to trigger Zyrax right now because like when you look at like let's just say right wing parenting today, we all know what happened in Minnesota.
Mm.
Look how the people are responding. How are they responding? They're going out and protesting. Probably don't even understand the facts and everything. Right wing parenting, when Charlie Kirk got shot, prayer visuals went up around the world. That's the difference right there.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think left wing parenting is balanced. I really don't. I mean, like, because
I've never seen it balanced.
Yeah, I don't. I disagree. It's not balanced. Right? You guys really don't talk about like there's nothing strict about it. Right? This is why I said right there with left wing parenting. There's no instilling of fear nor respect in the children. It's about catering to children's emotions, right? Catering to how a child feels, trying to be on the same level of a child. Wow.
And also catering to trends.
That is, yes. All the trends, yes.
It caters to trends. It caters to doctors, psychologists. It caters to everything. Like what Red Door just said, Native American children, discipline traditionally focus on teaching respect, self-control, and responsibility rather than physical discipline. She just kind of said it like that's what all parents should be like aiming to teach. And left wingers say, or left wing parenting is like, oh, my child's ADD. Why is he ADD? Is he bored? Does he need help relating to the topics? Does he need this? Does he need that? And right wing parenting is just like, hey, like, kid, shut up, go to school, do good. It's not a hard formula.
Yeah, but this is the thing where, just like you said, right? Evolving. I think this is the problem where, because I believe left wing parenting is that these are, adults that have grown up in that area that now they want to overcorrect, right? So everything that was the past, they don't want nothing to do with it. So they're doing. This is why I said that I believe that the best thing is like we do the best of both worlds, right? So that's the problem. But yeah, I don't believe left wing parenting is a balance. They have overcorrected because they maybe they're traumatized, adults from the past, and now they reject everything of the past.
Yeah, and they also just don't understand.
No. See, this is the thing. See now. So you can't say that because, first of all, right? Statistically, the school pew pew thing is small. Yes, you see it, but it's still small relatively to the population. Now, again, I'm not saying right wing parenting is right. I'm saying the problem is that we don't have a balance. That's the problem, right? So, like I said, we are overcorrecting thanks to left wing parenting. I don't think that you shouldn't be child friend, but right along with that, yes, you should be talking to your children, understanding your children, but not their friends. We are not children. You're not friends with children.
Well, like to answer Zyrax's question, how are right wingers? Well, the majority of the school pew pews, all of those situations have come from overly medicated children. So if right wingers don't believe in science, how are we also being blamed, or how are they also being blamed for pew pewing when they don't believe in science? So they don't believe in this medicine, but they're also doing that. It just like the logic doesn't follow.
And you
Because I would never let my kid take an ADHD medication.
maybe it's like maybe I wouldn't even say it, right? I mean, like I don't think parenting should be political. So maybe
But it's been made that.
yeah, but maybe I shouldn't say like left wing parenting, but I just think that modern day parenting is soft.
Well, like you like she can't just say something like that where right wing people are doing pew pews in school and then say parenting. Like she just made an accusation, then I debunked it, and now she's coming back with that. Like I'm sorry, like that's weak shit. Stand by what you're saying.
No, no. I mean, I agree. If we want to categorize it, we categorize it. Now it shouldn't, right? This is where this is the problem with I think modern day society. We are trying to push one side or the other. I think the best is the middle. In the middle is the best. This is why, even though a lot of people think that I'm right wing, I prefer to more say I'm center right. Right? I lean more to the right, but I'm more in the center. Right? I think the middle is the best kind of mindset. So this is a problem where again I'm critical on modern day parenting because I think it's overshoot where it's not in the middle anymore, or before maybe it was in the right, but now it's I feel like it's completely in the left instead of being in the middle, more like less political, you know.
Well, like I'll tell you how the left wing made it political when they made it to where like I have to choose between my daughter's safety and someone else's right to feel.
Yeah. I mean, we can't disagree that what there is some politicalness to it. I mean, like the alphabet community, trans community things. I mean, like there is. Where I mean, like I don't know if this is controversial or not, and I'm saying that I don't have no studies on this. I have no stats or statistics on this, but I'm seeing. I mean, at least through social media lens, and again, that's a caveat. That's a caveat I'm putting on. I'm seeing a lot of young boys turning gay. And a lot of it is coming either from the left or the left, single mothers, and I think that's a detriment, right? I think it's a detriment. I'm seeing a lot of, because I don't know, real rain. I don't know about you if your daughter talked to you, but my daughter has talked to me about how her school has gone. Right, there are little girls saying that they're having sex, and she's 13. Right, little girls are talking about sex. Little girls are talking about they're liking each other girls, or stabbing, violence, and all that stuff. And in all honesty, I think that's because of left wing softness.
Well, like my daughter is 5, so like what I mainly pay attention to is like who her teachers are, and like um maintain like one of the big things I make sure is what she watches.
Okay.
Like I kind of only let her watch like old school Power Rangers episodes with Jason David Frank, some old animes, like, but I'm really selective on the media I let her consume.
Okay, you summoned him. Alan.
Hey, what's going on, man? Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, my brother.
Hey, give me a second. I gotta go to the restroom.
All right, bro.
How have you been?
I'm not bad. How's it going, man?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's good.
Yeah.
You have a fun New Year's?
It was okay. It was okay. But did you? Since you said you were going somewhere, right?
Yeah, I went out of town with a couple of my buddies. It was pretty cool. I'd say it was a pretty decent trip.
Okay, that's nice. I'm glad that you had a good time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, no, I've been listening in for a minute. I'm mostly agreeing with you tonight, DA. Like for real. I'm with you on a lot of this, man.
Great. I mean, like I know that you had a particular topic you wanted to have a conversation on, right?
Not really. I was mostly just joining to ask Mr. Real Rain a thing. Well, not really, just asking, but I guess I can wait.
Yeah.
I suppose. Either way, whatever. is hi. I saw Red Door Woman who's in the chat. I would hope you're doing well, etc.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Um.
Rain is
Oh
back.
yeah, Real Rain. Continue what you were gonna say because I got something to say to you.
Now go ahead with what you got to say to
I
me.
was just I've been listening in for a while. I'm just gonna sit here playing video games, just whatever. Uh, how, how did it? How did you make the jump from like authoritative or authoritarian parenting, whatever, to political? Like I get that a little bit. Like I get what you're saying by like left wing parenting or right wing parenting. Like I know what you're talking about when you say that. But how did that turn into gay and trans people? I was just kind of curious about how like the jump went from like they're pushing that, therefore parenting's getting worse. Could you explain a little further?
DA, well, I didn't say that. DA mentioned
I,
how his daughter was dealing with that, and I just kind of mentioned I was controlling what my daughter
Right.
watches in terms of media. So I didn't bring
No,
that
I
up.
mostly meant your comment of like they made it political when they would rather me like downplay my daughter's safety for the way that they feel. What did that mean?
uh,
Well, that means
Frill just curious.
when we look at with transgender
Mm-hmm.
issues and non-binary issues,
Sure.
let's just say masculine presenting non-binary
Okay.
wakes up tomorrow and says he feels like a woman, and let's just say the school district I'm in says if you identify as a
Mm-hmm.
woman, you can go to the woman's restroom. That to me, as a father, is a safety issue. You can say it's not, you can say
No, I'm listening.
whatever, but but like as a father, one day I hope you
Yeah, yeah.
you'll understand. You don't want to leave no doubt.
I agree. Actually, like I'm with you
So
on that.
yeah,
I guess I'm just curious. Like, do you find them the person in that scenario or any of these like real world situations I'm sure you've heard of? Like, do you find the fact that they are a man the part where that makes you feel like they're more dangerous, or do you find the part that they are trans to make them more dangerous? Because
I
you're
feel the
assuming that the said male is automatically a
part.
threat, and that's why you would rather it not happening, right? So like, what makes them a threat?
I'm assuming that any threat that is
Hmm.
perceived should be taken into advisement in these
Yeah,
decisions. And I don't think they are. I think that the decision of threat is negated in these decision making policies by perceived feelings. That's what I'm
I get
saying.
that. What's the threat though? Because I hear a lot of people say this sort of similar. Like you're cool. Like I know you're cool, but like I hear a lot of people that are not so cool saying
Well,
kind of the thing. Like what's the threat? Like what? Because I get what you're
well,
saying.
let me just let me just break it down to you like
I'm listening.
this. The other day, Planet Fitness, you probably seen an online
Yeah, I did.
video. Okay, so do you not think that like I would view that as a threat if my daughter's 18, 16, and I get her a gym membership and she has to see that? I shouldn't look at that as a threat.
I don't know what the threat part of it is, as much of as just like it's a weird thing
Having
that a weird person did. Like I don't see that is a danger. That is a clear and present danger to all American schoolgirls because of a couple incidents of that nature. Like that's I guess where I'm confused.
Okay, so if it happens one time, do you not think it can happen again?
Of course it could happen again.
So would you not do something to mitigate the risk of it happening again?
I would do something I suppose to mitigate the risk. I would not just say, shut up, you're mentally ill. Go back to bed. Like I feel like that kind of negates it as equally as bad. That's why I'm like, okay, most schools today, big fan of this. I work in schools for the record. Um, and a lot of them have like the single person bathroom, and then they kind of just say like, hey, if you're not comfortable going into either bathroom, just use that one. I feel like that's a good solution
And
instead
get
of like arguing constantly about like, man, they can't go in my
no, no,
bathroom. Like, just make a new one. Who gives a shit? I don't see the, you know what I'm
like
saying?
I'm just going to destroy that talking point right now. Have you been to a Planet Fitness?
Specifically a Planet Fitness.
Yeah, a Planet
No, I
Fitness.
can't say I've been to a Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness has that third
Yeah,
option. So like
Yes,
that
because that
option's
person was a
there.
weirdo crybaby lunatic.
Okay, so how many opportunities for weirdo crybaby lunatics do we need to leave out there?
I'd say we
I'm
punish
saying
the weirdo crybaby lunatics. I'd say we don't preemptively punish the
guess
other
what?
people. That's what I'm saying.
But Alan, guess what?
Yeah.
Planet Fitness did not punish that weirdo lunatic. They kicked the woman that recorded it out. They banned her from the gym.
Well, I'm not Planet Fitness. I don't
No,
agree with that either.
but see, but the thing
But like, you understand how everything I've just like everything you asked
Mhm.
told you the like what you've said is like, yo, give the third restroom. Well, Planet Fitness has a third restroom. Well, like this is just a lunatic. Well, like Planet Fitness did the wrong thing, and like so it's
Yeah, because
like
that's just one specific
everything.
story. I'm not even arguing. I'm just saying I think that it's
no,
a
Alan,
little
you got
demeaning. I think it's demeaning to like a sizable amount of the population for someone to be like, "Hey, look at this video I saw. Isn't this so unjust? Aren't you gonna do the same thing probably?" I feel like that's just kind of odd. That's what I'm
I
saying.
didn't say
But
that.
you're saying but
That's
you would rather you consider it to be a threat.
I'm
Do
saying
you consider all cars
when
to
it
be a threat when you're walking in the street? Are you constantly like worried that one of them's gonna ram you on the sidewalk? No, you just walk on the sidewalk. You just assume that it's
no
not gonna happen.
when I drive my car, there's a reason why I turn on my turn signal. There's a reason why I do certain things because I
Yeah.
know if I don't have the turn signal on and I get hit by a car, I could also get sued. I take
No,
all
not that
those things
you.
into account.
I assume you're a safe driver, but I mean, like, you're just walking on the sidewalk. Like, do you walk on the sidewalk? Do you take walks?
Yeah, and I
When a car is
still
like passing by, and I promise I'm getting to a point. Like when a car's passing by you, do you automatically duck for cover?
I don't duck for cover, but
But
I
that car,
also
in half a second, all he has to do is turn his hand just a little bit to the left, and you're dead. But you don't think about that
yeah, but
because you
at the
just assume that they're going to be normal people and keep driving forward, right? So like
yeah, but
I think that putting a ban on people driving near sidewalks is kind of, I think it's a little overkill. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, but at the same time, like when I hear a car driving by, my ear listens and I take a look around and see, oh, there's a car coming that way.
Yeah, you determine there's no threat, and then you make the assumption of not of acting the way that you are, right?
Right. So how do I determine a situation is going to be a threat for my daughter in the future if I don't base it on past actions that have happened before?
I understand that point, but I think that the quote unquote past actions are a little bit blown out of proportion. That's all I'm saying. I don't think that they're worthy of
Well,
a full like blanket statement of I'm worried that my
well,
this would happen to any loved one, honestly.
like
but here,
I
let me
I mean,
let
like
me
I've had loved ones like affected by like crippling addiction. Doesn't mean that every single time I see anyone like pull a bag of weed out anywhere near me, I start freaking the fuck
here's
out. Like it's just
okay,
like
like I pulled a bag of heroin out in front of you, you would be like, "Yo, I had a loved one that died from that shit. Get that shit away from me." Would you not?
probably I just feel like that's fucking lame, dude. Come on now.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So like a
like,
situation, if the best example you can come up with is a like obviously annoying person doing a dumb thing at a Planet Fitness, but you like chalk it up to dangers within like school public
yeah,
restrooms, like I think that they're it's a little blown out of proportion.
Hardin County, Allen, in
What's up?
Virginia, where a girl was raped.
Mm, that sucks.
So like,
Wait, where?
okay,
What's it
so you
called?
don't. So Loudoun County, Virginia, a girl
Louder
with grapes.
County.
DA knows what I'm talking about. This made national headlines,
Yeah, I guess I missed
and
this.
like,
By a what? By a
well,
trans
like,
person? By a dude sneaking into the bathroom?
yes. And then when it was brought up to the school did not do anything but, or the school district didn't do anything other than transfer the student to another school where they went on to do it again. So you
Wait,
can
what's the
say
county
like,
called?
oh,
I'm
this
sorry, I'm listening.
thing, Loudoun County,
Loudon. Like loud. Yeah, okay.
Loudon.
Yeah, I got you. My bad. Um, yeah, that ain't good. Like I don't.
Okay, so no, Alan, like this is what you're saying. Like you're saying, like I'm basing my decision on how I want to protect my daughter off of one incident when there have been several documented instances. At what point do you say, yo, we need to do something to help parents feel safe with their kids?
Where were
Let
you
me put
getting
that on.
the trans part of it from?
You type in
I
Loudoun
do.
County trans
I'm
rape.
looking through it. I don't see any. Wait, maybe this is just in the right one.
For junior,
Hunter Heckle was found guilty of sexually assaulting two girls. They were released. Jesus Christ, that's horrible. Yeah, no, it's horrific. I'm not saying, yeah, this is really bad.
so like now that you learned that, Alan, I'm gonna put it on you. How do you tell me?
Oh, I
Like,
see what happened. Oh, they were just not being vigilant at all. Yeah, that's on the school
how do you
district.
make?
I think that's on the school district more than every trans person.
Okay, Alan, stop.
Okay.
How do you make me feel safe
Mhm.
with my daughter and and situations like that? Make me feel safe. Convince me it's safe.
How could I convince you that it's safe for a trans person to be near your daughter in a bathroom?
Yeah, convince me now.
I
Now
guess
that I've given you,
I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, even if there were, I think what's the best way of putting this? I'm trying to think of the best way of putting this out rambling because I have a tendency to do. I'm trying to cut back on it. Part of my New Year's thing. And I'm not even really arguing with you. I'm kind of with you on most of this. The only thing that I think that I do disagree with is the notion that inherently the concept of a trans person being anywhere near a woman is automatically more threatening. I think that's where I'm
I
disagreeing
did
with you
not
on that.
Well,
not say
I
that
want
though.
to test Alan's consistency. So I mean,
Sure.
I don't know if you agree with this with other women, where a lot of women, I mean, the narrative online with a lot of women is constantly saying that men are dangerous. Men are dangerous.
Okay.
Men are say like women use say all these things that men are violent. I'd rather choose the bear than the
I'd rather
man.
choose the bear. Yeah. I get
Yes.
what you're saying.
So because this is the thing where men understand, being cautious is okay, but having I see this is where I think is a little bit different. Where I mean, do you agree with how a lot of women, particularly let's say feminists, the left, view men in general as dangerous, as violent, as misogynistic, as whatever?
I think that if you are a adult woman with a frontal lobe fully developed and you genuinely choose the bear, I think you're a dumb person that should not be putting their opinions online because you sound like an idiot.
But do
Right
you
or
not?
left. If any woman is genuinely out here spewing that all men are dangerous or misogynistic or rapist, whatever you want to say, if anyone's actually saying that, they're a fucking lunatic. Don't listen to them. The same goes with anyone who is willing to say that all trans people are dangerous and you should be worried about them. That's the same, yeah.
Believe that
I think that
we
anyone that's going to make blanket statements about that large part of the population, I think that it's just not
Um,
productive.
and
And the only people
and you
that
see,
like
Alan,
you worry about the way that affects like young women's perceptions of men. Like how is it going to be in 5 years if every governor is, or even just like people in general are always talking like, oh, we gotta keep them trans people away from our kids. Like what happens in the long run with that? Like wouldn't that just doesn't that just ruin the perception
right?
of an entire community that hasn't done anything?
Alan, you're making an argument to a point I never made.
yeah, I think it's
I
like you gotta
why
look at
is
it.
it inherently threatening though? I get what you're saying about like these incidents. I get that. But like I'm struggling to understand the part where okay,
But Alan, let me explain to you where you're just like I think you're not
all right, give
understanding.
it to me.
When I want to negate threats to my
Agreed.
daughter, that does not a blanket statement against the whole trans community.
Okay.
It is not. So you're making an argument to something I'm not saying. I'm
Okay.
saying, yes, I understand trans people exist. I live in Houston. We were one of like
Oh,
the most
word.
gay friendly.
Yeah, sir.
Oh, so like I do not care about gay trans. Like I like have been friends with these people. I know that inherently they are all good, but inherently I understand that like hey, like you said a third restroom option, right?
Yeah, I'd say that that's the best
Why
part.
do why do we not have that in public
That's what I was
schools?
saying. I think we're adding them a lot more, which is I think is a better way of going about it. They should be.
Right.
We always should have had that option. First of all, like the wheelchair accessibility like thing. I mean, like there's a lot of problems with bathrooms in general. I think that pretty low on the totem pole is a man.
But when you ask and like why I care about my daughter's safety over someone's feelings, I'm saying like they're giving a binary decision and they're expecting parents like you're literally making me have a nuanced decision on something the school board has made a binary decision on. Do you not
No,
understand
I
like
do get
how
what you're
to
saying. Actually,
like
yeah, you're right. I did misinterpret your original thought. Thank you. I'm with you. I think that it's a lot more
okay?
nuanced than a lot of people bring it out to be. I get that. I do get that.
So like that's why like I think Alan, like you kind of like hear things and you automatically assume the worst in the person's intention in saying it.
I guess I was
And
more
that's
so
like
just the reason why I thought that is because of I hear a lot about the facts don't care about your feelings crowd, when really all the fact
yes,
is that did you hear about this thing that happened last Tuesday? Oh man, I'm so worried about all of those people.
right.
That's what I kind of
So
get out of it sometimes. So sorry about that.
and well, like I'm gonna just kind of like flip this on you because I think this is going to be a great learning experience. You say I should not make a decision on something that has happened in other school
Oh
districts,
no, that's not
but
what I'm
you are
saying at all.
making that is kind of what you just said. So like you don't want me to make a decision on like something that I have evidence of happens. You have an anecdotal example of something that's happened and you're placing that judgment onto me.
I get what you're saying. Does your How old is
And
your daughter, if you don't mind me asking? She's
5.
5? Oh, got
Yeah.
you. Okay. When do you take her to like the park?
She's a soccer player. I take
Right,
her
but like
like all the time
you
outdoors.
supervise her, right? Like you're always
I
watching her.
have no Yeah, but like I don't walk her into the girls' restroom. I let my baby mama do
See,
that.
that's fair. No, and good on you for that. I'm just saying, like, I
So
think that how do I put this? I think that humans, especially people that, are involved in this sort of stuff a lot, and this includes myself, I do agree with you. I think that we have this idea that like one thing, like one incident happens, then we immediately it makes sense for humans to do this. It's in our evolutionary like DNA for us to see a thing happen and be a lot more worried about it happening again, especially to our kin. But I think that in certain circumstances, I just think it's a little unfounded. Like I don't know. I just I'm trying to find the best way that I can say. I don't know. I feel there's a lot more dangerous things out there that we just kind of don't talk about. And it's odd to
well,
me sometimes that these are the things that pop into people's minds when I mean like just in general.
I,
I mean just the concept of like a person being hurt or abused, etc., or whatever, is a lot more likely to happen in like any other space, right? But we take these certain incidents of a person in bathroom or a person in train station or whatever, and we immediately assume that those two places are somehow more dangerous or the people perpetrating them are somehow inherently more dangerous. And I think that's what bothered me
well,
sometimes.
well, I can address that for you right now,
Sure, man.
Alan. In the restroom, you are at your most vulnerable. Would you say not?
Yeah, to an extent, sure.
So when we say like you are going to be at your most vulnerable, and when we also have to take into account this potential threat,
I get you.
that makes that makes things a little different than just saying, "Oh, okay."
But I think
Like
that the
when we have
concept of
a
a threat is overblown. That's what I'm saying. I think that saying we have to take into account this potential threat, like when you're at the grocery store and a guy walks in with a hoodie, do you immediately say that's a potential threat and you're like on tip about it, right?
well,
Exactly,
there's
but like you get
really
what I'm
been
saying though. Like anything is a potential threat. Everyone is a potential threat. You've shaken hands with a murderer before. You just don't even know it. Like everything can be a potential threat if you think hard enough about it. But we like to marginalize specific communities based on isolated incidents of that nature to say that we need to find the threat whenever we find someone that looks like them or wants to behave similarly to them, right? Like, do you get what I mean?
No, I'll
Well,
say,
I'm go ahead,
Thank you for
Da.
letting me speak.
I agree with you, right? It's not like I don't disagree with you. I do, but I also look at it this way too, where as human beings, as a nation, civilized, whatever,
Hmm.
that we care about uh, risk management, right?
Hmm.
So just like the thing where I mean, I'm not sure that this is true or not, but I assume it, right? Probably one time in history we had only one bathroom, but you know what? One bad apple, right, ruined the
Right.
bunch where we had to have two. So that's kind of the thing where you know what? I do understand. I mean, like I do understand women to have some caution of men because yes, certain bad things too happen to women. So I would be understanding of being cautious of risk management. Now I agree too. Yeah, you don't make it like oh the whole bunch is terrible. No, but as society wise, when you're making rules, laws, regulations, whatever, well, you got to think about the masses, not about the individual. So you want to think about risk management just in case. I think that's how laws work, right? Not everyone does, crime, but we have a law because for the few that do it, that's what is needed. So that's where I can understand it, right? So I don't have a gripe that if we have, I mean, I'm not saying we're doing, but if we have laws against, let's say, trans people in women's bathroom,
Hmm.
understandable. It's not like hating against all trans people, but
Hmm.
it's understandable for risk management.
What about trans people in men's bathrooms?
Men have no
Like a
scare.
trans, like a trans girl, like a trans man, whatever. Like, how do you feel about that?
There's no risk to it.
Whoa,
Men, what would men?
whoa, wait, DA. Oh no,
Mm,
wait. There's no risk.
what risk? What would that
What?
No, no,
mean?
I'm serious. You don't find there's no risk for a woman doing the same thing that the man's doing?
Men would not be in risk. Hey,
So doesn't
you
that
have no risk.
automatically assume that you think, wait. Follow my logic here.
Yeah,
So, because you don't, I understand what you're saying. So you don't like, trans people, whatever. We'll just call them by their birth, gender, whatever. So you're saying, man walks into women's bathroom.
hmm
That, can't happen. We're not doing that.
yeah.
Woman walks into man's bathroom. That's probably fine because what's the risk? Aren't you? Doesn't that just mean that you're worried about the men? Wouldn't that automatically mean that you're assuming that men are more dangerous than women in that situation?
No, no, no. Well, I would say that
Wait,
Like,
it's
no, DA, I'm for real, dude. If you're only worried about the men doing bad things to the women, doesn't that mean that you inherently believe that men are more likely to do the bad thing?
no, because I'm saying that like there is the opportunity, right? I mean, but balance by probability, right?
You're
That
worried about men sexually assaulting women in a bathroom, but you're not worried about the other way. Doesn't that say something about the way that we view men in women's spaces compared to the opposite?
hey, Da, can I take
go
this
ahead.
one?
I'm mostly asking him, but
Okay.
I'm curious.
Well, I'll let Rain do it, and I will give my rebuttal too.
Okay.
Okay. When a woman uses the restroom, she has to sit down, right?
Yes, I guess. Yeah, I
Okay.
guess not really. Yeah, I'm assuming.
She has to sit down and have her pants down by her ankles.
Okay.
She is at a risk, not in terms of men, blah, blah, blah. It's in risk of the bodily anatomy puts her in a position to where she has to be at an extremely vulnerable position. That's the difference. A man pees standing up 90% of the time. And most of the time, men don't really take craps in public. I think we
That's
all
true.
know
That's
that.
fair. I don't like
So
it.
that's the key difference in what you're trying to
So
say.
but like I don't. Okay, so having your, I can't. I guess I'm not gonna say. So having your junk out standing up and having your junk out sitting down. That's the difference.
No,
That's the difference that makes you feel that. I don't. I get
well,
what you're saying. I do.
People fight back with my junk hanging out. A woman can't fight back if she's having to defend. Like she's having to defend
But
her
are you worried
lower
about the
half.
concept of being you?
well, here.
I'm trying to follow. I do get what you're saying.
Follow
I get
here.
what you're saying.
You can say follow my logic, right? Let me do it then. I'm not saying that men are dangerous. Period. Right? I'm not just trying to say, oh, men are dangerous.
No, of
No,
course not. Of course not.
logic is that if it happens, right? Let's say a scenario where, like you said, a man goes into a woman's bathroom, right? Let's say the 1% it'll happen. You think a woman could really act truly protect herself from a man? Highly probably not. In the first situation where, let's say, a woman comes into a bathroom and, let's say, assault a man, a man has a higher a chance of defending himself. So that's why I said men have no fear of women entering their bathrooms, while women can, and logically, have a fear of a man entering a woman's bathroom. Because if it happens, like even if it's the lowest of lows, right, the 1% of happening, even if it happens, a man can protect himself from a woman, while a woman highly won't be able to protect herself from a man. That's the thing. I'm not saying that men are dangerous. I'm saying that, again, that 1%, that risk management thing that we pretty much do with everything, right? With laws, regulations, this, that. We geared it towards the exceptions, not necessarily the rules, right? Not necessarily the norms. So that's, yeah.
Do you think, but once again, I don't see you're worried about people vilifying men, which I agree. I think it's annoying and stupid and strange. I'm with you on that. But you have no problem vilifying a man who wears a skirt. Like that automatically means that they're more dangerous, that you're more worried about them.
I have no problem them being cautious. I don't support.
You're really just inflating issues. Like,
okay, fair enough.
One thing can be bad, and the other thing can be bad too. Like, it's not like I can say like women shouldn't vilify, and this situation is bad too. It's not like you're conflating like two distinct different issues now.
Okay, fair enough. I get you. I'll concede it. You're right. I don't know. You answered my question. I'll get off of it.
Alan,
oh God.
What do you want to say? Finish your thing.
Alan conceded something for once.
I'm not gonna say I conceded, like you changed my mind, but you're right. I was using positions that aren't, like, I don't know, it's not really productive, and I get what you're saying, and there you go. So I appreciate you saying it. You guys are nice.
But Alan, I kind of want to know your thoughts on this, right? I mean, since we're talking about trans stuff.
We can talk about anything, dude. Yeah,
I know. We probably could talk about other things.
Of course.
Glance through things. But I do want to think about this, where, let's say, for me, I think adults do what they want to do, right? I don't care, right? I don't care what adults do, particularly when it's for themselves. But do you not see, like, since we're talking about children, do you not see that it's a slippery slope that, in my opinion, that we are indulging in children's potential delusions, right? Like, you feeling like your girl, because there are kids that could feel like they're a robot, feel like they're a dinosaur, feel like they're a ninja or whatever. So this is where I'm having like a bit of difficulty where at such a young age we have children thinking about sexuality, and in my opinion, it's, let's say, politically, it's the left that's pushing it and wanting children to think about sexuality, because in my opinion, like, I wouldn't call myself the most masculine of boys when I was young, even now. So if, let's say, if I was born now, today, maybe, I'm not saying that's true or not, but maybe because I'm not your stereotypical masculine man, I may have been pushed by society. There are teachers that are pushing it. There are faculty that's pushing it. There's principals that are pushing it, that, oh, you know what? Maybe you're gay. Maybe you're trans. And this is the thing where I think it's dangerous thing where you said the, like, little boys or whatever. It's that, instead of pushing that, oh, let's have a third bathroom, or let's allow boys into, or trans boys into little girls' bathroom, but we don't we don't focus on how about mental health. And that's why I prefer more talking about, but the mental health
I get you.
kids.
Okay. I'm with that too.
Push them into being gay or trans, right? Because if
you're worried that they're
stuff, then think about it.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna be a teacher. Like, I'm there. I just have to do my training. Can I tell you how many times we had any of that mentioned?
Well, I'm again,
in any of our training, in any of our curriculum, I have a phone number for you.
Let's try not to do anecdotal.
No, I'm saying you can look this up. It's zero. The answer is zero. We don't talk about it. I think that we've once
You
again
think
kind of
the answer is
decided.
zero that no teachers talk about it, or what do you mean that it's
So
zero?
I'll say that there is absolutely zero prerogative from the quote unquote the principals and the whatever, right? Teachers are humans. They're gonna
Well,
say stupid things. They're gonna do whatever they want, and they'll be punished for it if it's found wrong. That's not my deal, right? I will say that I think that first of all, so what? I mean, like you talk about sexuality. When did you do? Like I did my first sex ed class in fifth grade. I didn't understand it at all, but they told me how to have sex with a lady when I was 10 years old, and I said that's weird. I don't like it. And then all my friends joked about it, and then we didn't really think about it. And then we did it again in seventh grade, and we all joked about it. And then boom, I'm 15. I'm having sex. I went, wow, I'm really happy that they explained this to me. I didn't get it back then, but I get it now, right? I'm not gay. I had uncles that were gay. I learned about how being gay was when I was a kid. And I didn't turn gay because I'm not,
well,
right?
why?
Well, that's different.
So, well, like I know it's different, but like, let me just
I think
like
it made me
flip
more, I
this
guess it made
question.
me more open to, well, so the point that I'm saying is I think that the idea that it's forcing that we're forcing ourselves upon youth with all of these ideas. It's like no, all we're really
No, no,
doing is saying that it exists. So like specifically with like the sex ed programs, right? Like a lot of people are getting up in arms about us teaching about that anal sex. When it's like it's half the reason why the AIDS crisis even started is because two people were too ashamed to even talk about it, right? Like people were too
why?
ashamed to ask people about it or to try to learn about it, to talk to their parents about it, so they would do it secretively. And unfortunately, doing things in secrecy without actually learning about the risks leads to more risks, right? So where I'm at with it when it comes down to whether or not you think it's mental illness or not, even if it is a mental illness, honestly, I'd prefer that we talked about it more anyway. So yes, I think that having an 8-year-old have a concept of what a trans person might be, I don't think is nearly as catastrophic. Because even if they do decide one day, hey, daddy, I'm a boy now, and you go, oh, that's fucking weird, right? You can have your own opinions on it. Who gives a shit? I probably think the same thing. Oh, if they're not, then what? They hit 13, they realize, oh fuck, I like having, yeah, no, no, and then they say no, and
Well,
then they live the rest of their lives like none of it happened. It's like wanting to be an astronaut as a kid. I really don't think that. I don't see why the
Then
concept of they're
no,
pushing sexuality, like you said.
okay.
I don't get it.
okay,
All right.
So respond, please. I
okay.
don't see the issue with that.
All right.
Let me ask you this, Alan. If I were let's just say, a fourth grade teacher,
Hmm.
would you be okay with me having an Austrian's painter picture on my wall with a Hindu symbol turned to the right with black and red behind the flag drop?
I'd prefer you didn't, mostly being what he did and the ideas that he stood
And
for, and I'd rather not have that being
so,
posterized.
so you would be fearful of the influence it might have.
Right, but the influence that you're speaking of is turning a child into a racist, hateful person.
Right. Okay,
So
right,
racist,
like
hateful person and gay man are conflated? I don't get the point. I don't get it. I don't get it. Explain further.
you're okay. So what I'm saying is the same way you don't want that hateful thing posted on the wall because of the influence it might have. I do not want a flag on the wall that could potentially influence a young mind into thinking they may be something they are not because they are teaching or seeking teachers' approval.
But teachers' approval is, I think, very different than. Once again, I think that you guys don't understand what the curriculum is, and I don't
No,
mean this in any disrespectful way. I think that you see.
Go ahead, DA.
yeah. This is the
What do
thing.
you think that we are doing as
No, no,
teachers? Do
no,
you
no, no.
think that we're sitting down children and being like, "Hey guys, here's a trans woman. It's okay to be a trans woman. In fact, you should be a trans woman. If you ever thought that you were a boy, well, guess what? You are." Like none of this happens, right? I assure you that this does not happen. And any teacher that does do this with all children can be fired with cause because they're being weird and annoying. And I think that you guys have heard these
Depending
stories and assume that we're all like hunky dory, like, "Oh yeah, this was a good thing." No, no, no. In fact, most of us aren't even a fan of it. To be honest with you, I don't know if it's not really progressive, but yeah, a lot of us are like, what the fuck's going on? We're with you. You can't demonize the school system for this. Like the school system is not doing this. Kids that were already thinking either A, you get two opportunities, you get two sides, right? Kids that are looking for attention. I get that.
Oh, okay, okay.
No, I'm getting
No,
no.
no, no.
I'm just saying the only two
I'm
groups of people that would ever actually be quote unquote influenced by this are kids that are looking for attention, and then realize that that's stupid when they hit whatever, and they go, "Wow, that was dumb. I'll stop with this now as I live my life." Or people that actually are those things that are happy to learn about it at a young age instead of feeling so uncomfortable with themselves forever and being made fun of and all of those things. So like the two options are, wow, that was dumb. I'll stop now, or wow, I'm happy I learned about it earlier. And I'd much rather take the good with the bad because the bad is just going, that was stupid. I'm sorry.
But Alan, what you're negating is the child's mind.
Yeah, like the plasticity. Like
You're straight.
I took. Yes, I understand. Yes, children are very malleable, but they're not malleable into fucking dudes. Children's minds are
Right, but
not
what?
malleable enough to determine their sexual
So why?
proclivities as a
Okay,
child.
basically,
You figure it out when you get older and you start actually wanting to have sex. When you hit puberty. I do not think that exposing children to gay people is going to give them more of an inkling to be gay.
well, based on that, exposing kids to Mustache Man, they either feel that way or they don't. And so,
I'll
like,
address that
why?
hypothetical right now. So your hypothetical is if you put a picture of Mustache Man on the wall, it's the same.
I'm saying
I don't get it.
influence,
The influence of
the
that, right? Okay, so
I would say that is disingenuous, right? You
but
can teach
I'm saying there's two. So in your situation, the
kids.
child, quote unquote, will have the same conversation with their teacher. The child will say, hey, Mrs. Smithy, who's that guy? And the teacher will say he was a genocidal mass murderer who hates
well,
minorities. And the child will say, oh,
Alan,
what does that mean? And then they will be explained, right? Or in your situation, right? And then the other one is, hey, that girl looks kind of weird. What's up with that? And the teacher says, oh,
no,
that's a trans person. And then the girl says, oh, what's that? And they say, it's a man that turned into a woman. And then the child says, oh,
you're making no, Alan, you're making a false equivalency because if a teacher has a picture of Mustache Man on the wall, the same way she has a picture of a pride flag on the wall, the
that's
teacher
what
that
you're
has
worried
the
about? You're
mustache,
worried about a pride flag?
Alan, no wait, Alan. Let him.
Alan, you're not like let me finish the like
Okay,
let me
okay.
finishing
I'm
the
listening.
okay. So the teacher that has the Mustache Man on the wall, she has a bias to support Mustache Man, right?
Continue. Just you got go finish the whole thing.
Yeah, just go. A bias
Okay.
to support him because they have it on the wall.
She has a bias to
Yeah, I would
support
assume
Mustache Man. So
if it was a genocidal mass murder that as a country hunted down and killed. Yes, I would assume that she's probably a bigger fan of him than the majority. Yeah.
okay, so she has a bias to support him. So when the
hmm
teacher says, "Hey, who's that guy?" She's not the kid. Teacher's not going to say, "Oh, he's a genocidal maniac." She's going to say something like, "Oh, he was uh, a great painter that wanted to liberate his people and did X, Y, and Z." But like he
That
was
makes it
like
worse
awesome.
for your situation, dude.
That's what I'm saying with the pride flag. When
But
asked
a
about the
pride
pride
flag does
flag,
not kill millions of people. What are you talking about? DA, are you DA? What the fuck is he talking about? I'm really trying here.
No, he's talking about you got to understand, right? We're not talking about yes. There's levels of extremes. Yes, racism is a more extreme case.
This is the biggest.
We're talking about influencing kids. That's what we're talking about. Period. Right? It's about the ability to influence kids. And whether you say it's zero, which is not true, there are teachers out there that are trying to influence. And I'm not saying that they
Okay,
are,
but let me put it like this. I'll say this. Like, do you think that if you smoked inside of the house as a parent, do you think that that influences your kid when they turn older to smoke?
Yeah.
yeah, studies show that.
Studies do show that. That's what I'm getting at. Like, if you smoke in the house around your kid is more likely to smoke in their lifetimes, right? Was that kid biologically born knowing that they're going to smoke? Like, is there like a gene in them saying you're going to be a lifelong smoker?
No.
No.
So you're
No,
saying
hear me out. Right. No. So when they're influenced, that influenced badly, right? Then they're more likely to do the bad thing because they had to learn that behavior, right? So yeah, I think that putting a pride flag when the idea behind it is, hey, people that have been marginalized and told you don't exist for so long, you do. It's like whatever. Like, I don't get it. I see what you're saying, but I think that if it's if it's inherently biological, the thing that you're so worried about, right? Then learning about it at a young age, I don't think changes anything. The
Well,
worst that it'll do is some kid will be like, I'm gay, and then like
anybody, you're
see boobs in ninth grade and go, oh, whoa. And that's that.
I'll,
And that's it. That's the end of it.
I'll say this.
Compared to years of hatred and racism having to be turned around once the kid hits 18, like, no, I do not think these are the same situation at all.
Well, I don't think it's in your genes to be honest. I
Oh,
don't.
you don't think that you think being gay is a choice?
I think it's an environmental thing. Right?
All
There's
right, wait.
no real study.
Why?
I mean, is there a study you can point me to that it's in your genes to be gay?
Yeah, it's pretty well known that being gay is a biological phenomenon.
It's not
Why
really
would people be gay in the past when you could get like stoned for it if it was a choice?
Why would you be racist? Why would you be anything?
Because racism gave you a benefit. Because white people were on top, so white people being racist and keeping people at the bottom is good for white people.
There are people today that's racist.
Yeah, because they're stupid.
I mean, but see,
but they're being dumb. But because it benefits themselves. It makes themselves feel good about themselves, knowing that they're at the top of the ladder. No, I do not think that for all of human history that these people who know that they will be ostracized by their society, that they would literally be put to death in most societies. I do not think that they would be actively choosing to do so because what? They wanted they're speaking out? Like, I don't get it. They're acting out?
I mean,
I don't get it.
okay.
I'm for real. I'm being for real serious. I don't like that's insane. That's an insane thing. That's crazy. Come on now.
Okay, can I give it a kind of a small analogy?
Do you think that being gay is a choice?
Yes.
I have no comment on that.
Maybe it's a choice to act upon it, sure, but the inherent, I like men, I do not want to have sex with women. Do you think that is a choice?
Alan, let me just give you my analogy.
All right.
Are your family sports fans?
To an extent, I suppose. Probably enough to fit your analogy.
Does your family have a team that your family supports?
Yes, sir. Go Tigers.
Okay. So seeing all the Tigers stuff growing up influenced you to be a Tigers fan. That's the point I'm making. The influence these things have on children can last a lifetime.
I understand that. I do get exactly what you're saying. Like, yes, it can last. Yeah, of course. If it's a thing that will not immediately be stopped the moment that your frontal lobe gets fully developed, yes, I agree.
But I am talking about, I want from the age of 0 to 18, if my daughter comes to me when she's 19 and says, Dad, I love vagina, I will say, okay, like, you've lived 18 years of life, so you know what you like. But I do not want it to be where, like, she heard a 5th grade teacher say she was lesbian and put that into her mind that the idea of a lesbian is there.
Once again, it's not the fact that we're like bringing drag show queens into school and being like, this is normal and you should accept them, little Timmy. It's like in a book. It's like in sex ed where they say, hey, you know how most of you are probably going to have like your penis inside of a vagina one day? Some people don't want that. That's it. That's it.
You're not really in my argument on the influence, because
okay, I get what you're saying. Yes, sports fan, whatever. Yes. But okay, so my family grew up a Tigers fan. I grew up a Tigers fan. Beautiful. Makes sense. I got influenced by them. I ain't gonna be no fucking Cleveland fan. The issue with your thing and with my analogy is that I can still go to Cleveland and become a Cleveland fan. Right? Because it's a choice. It's a passive choice that I can make at the drop of a dime. It'd be hard because of the
But
influence. Listen. It would be almost impossible because of the influence for me to suddenly wake up one day and go, I really don't like them Tigers, right? Because of the influence. It'd be hard, but it's not impossible because it's a choice that you're making. What I'm saying is that if my family raised me as a Tigers fan, but I was born with an inherent bias towards being a Cleveland fan, I could grow up a Tigers fan my whole life. I could deal with them making fun of Cleveland all of the time and cheering when Cleveland loses in the playoffs, and I wouldn't feel very nice about that, right? And then when I
yeah,
finally get a
but
chance to see what a Cleveland fan is like, I can go, I'm actually pretty happy with this, and this is where I was meant to go the whole time. So,
well, let me ask you this. Let me
no,
ask
no,
you
no, I'm
this.
serious. That's the
If
same
you
thing. It's the same thing. If I was born
no
to be
no
a
no
Cleveland fan, I'm going to be a Cleveland fan no matter what the influence. At the same way, if I was born to be a Tigers fan and a Cleveland fan walked up to me and they were like, "You should move to Cleveland and put on the C," I'm going to say, "No, that's stupid," or I'm going to say, "Well, thanks for your opinion, but no."
because
Like,
because
what's the
I'm
difference? I don't get it.
okay. I'm gonna further elaborate on this. So you're a Detroit fan. You can we just use football terms because
Football,
that's
yeah,
more
sure.
what
My bad,
I'm.
my bad. Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So you were raised a Lions
Hmm.
fan, but then in fourth grade you had an awesome teacher. Let's just call him Mr. Da.
Hell yeah.
Mr. Da comes in. He's your favorite teacher you ever
Yep.
had, but he's a Browns fan.
Uh,
At the age of
Yeah, it might make
at
me
the
question
fifth
it. It might make me go, oh, I've hated these Browns for so long. I wonder why. And, maybe watch a few Browns games and then realize, like, hey, really not into these guys. I'm gonna go back to being a Lions fan.
That's the idea I'm putting towards you. Like,
Right.
I do not want the
But
influence
if
of it.
your daughter was always meant to be a Browns fan and she's been surrounded by Lions fans her entire life, being made fun of all the
I,
time, every single time they lose, losing season, losing season, losing season, ha 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 ha. But deep down, she knows that she resonates with those guys more. Do you think that that teacher coming in and saying, "Hey, I'm a Browns fan," do you think that would make her feel good? Do you think it would make her feel seen and heard just a little bit more, feel a little less alone in the world? So when she gets to the age where she can decide whether she's going to be a Browns or Lions fan, she feels a little bit more secure in making that decision that's right for her.
Well,
but I want her to come to that decision on her own, not because of the influence of Mr. Da in the fourth grade. That's the
Okay, but like if
point.
you have like I don't get it. Okay, left hand. Let's talk about left-handed and right-handed people, right? Like for the majority of history, we have been bullying left-handed people into being right-handed, for better or for worse. We have just been bullying them in school, specifically Catholic school. They fucking hate left-handers. Anyway, point is that we've been like trying to beat the left-handedness out of them. Though almost every single person that ever experienced that as a kid not only did not become right-handed because that's not how it works, they just went back to using their left hand, right? So like that was influence. We're gonna make you we're gonna make you right hand. We're gonna make you right hand. The same way that you're worried about a pride flag, except when they realize that, hey, I'm just left-handed. They just go be left-handed. It doesn't matter the amount of influence. No one that's left-handed is just going to turn right-handed because someone says nicely. The same way that a fourth grade teacher saying, "Hey, this thing exists, and if you are that, like, good for you." I don't think it's going to make anybody that
yeah,
isn't that go,
let me,
You're right. I want to be like them. Like,
Alec,
no.
let me test your logic then. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say, I mean, again, who knows if it's true or not, right? But Google says being left-handed is genetic, and being gay
Yeah,
is
no, being left-handed is like a specific. Google says being gay isn't genetic.
yes, yes. But
Where
still,
did you?
I just said, is there a gene for being gay? But I want to say this.
Is there a
I want to
gene like a specifically? Yeah,
I want to test your logic
it's
for
a,
this,
it's it's a part of your mind. I guess no, I'm not going to say that there's like some like specific. I'm not a biologist, but it definitely has some
right?
specific part of your brain that's telling you to do this,
Well, that could be
for
true,
better
right?
or for worse. It's
Right?
same like pedophilia. It's the same thing. It's just like a part of your brain is fucked up and it's telling you you are this.
Exactly. This
Right.
I exactly wanted to talk about this, right? Because
Yeah, except pedophilia is a crime and being gay isn't.
well, I'm
So
not.
I'm less worried about gay people.
I'm more saying that like because if it's consistent, then you got to say that it's part of because in my opinion, the whole people who are attracted to children, people who are attracted to dead bodies, all that stuff,
Right.
kind of fall in the same category.
No, they don't all fall in the same category, okay?
Why wouldn't they? It's
Because you
all
can put
attracted.
anything that deviates away from the norms in the same category if you try hard enough. Hey, are your shoes you're wearing green?
It's the attraction part, right?
No, I get what you're saying, but like, I mean, you can do it with any set. I'm wearing green shoes right now. Are your shoes green?
No.
Then you're outside of my circle, and you better stay out. It's so easy. It's so easy to do that. Hey, are your shoes green? My bad. Real rain.
By that, what do you mean by outside?
The current pair I'm wearing or in general?
Are your shoes green?
The current pair I'm wearing or
What's
a
the pair
pair I
you're
have
on
in
right now?
general?
The pair you have on right now.
They're white.
Right. So I can say that green people, because I think that I'm better in this situation. I don't think I'm better than you guys. But like, if I were to feel that I'm better than you guys, all I have to say is 2/3 of the people here aren't cool. They're in the outside group, even though you can categorize them in just colors, or you can just call them shoes. It really doesn't matter at all. But if you just say not green or green, it's a lot easier to make an enemy out of the not green, because everyone that's not wearing green is the enemy. So no, I do not think that pedophilia and being gay is the same as not being straight, right?
I kind of think it's still the same mindset where it's.
But the mindset is what? Just not being normal? Is normal is that the baseline?
Norm is the baseline.
Norm. So what is normal? Just a person attracted to people of a similar age, straight?
I mean,
cisgender, like that's normal, right? That's the norm. That's the norm we've all accepted. That's fine. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But like, okay, do you like Brussels sprouts?
No.
I do.
Well, let me.
What's the norm on that, right? Like, we haven't found a norm.
No, I think you constantly look at it as a negative or a positive kind of.
No, I'm not even negative or positive. You're conflating being gay with pedophilia. I don't like that.
It's not a bad thing to be abnormal, right? It's not a bad thing to be abnormal.
Yeah, of course not.
So to be honest,
in some ways, yeah, sure, it is kind of bad. But yeah,
you can make the case.
It depends on the circumstance. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that, like, in my opinion, right? Like I said, it's not genetic. It could be and you said it. It's probably a mental thing. So that's where we kind of think where, like I said, right? If you grow to be an adult, you decide what you want to do. Okay, but I think that it is true that there are teachers, there are certain schools. Nothing is zero, but there are places that they are influencing children. Maybe not necessarily during curriculum, but children interact with kids a lot.
Yeah, we're parenting your kids for those 8 hours.
That's what I'm saying. So
we're doing our best, but I think that if there's one kid in the back of my classroom who's very obviously not comfortable, well, let's say it comes down similar. I don't know. It can be anything. You can really conflate it with anything. That's all my whole point. Hi, AJ. I'm saying that this whole point of they'll influence them, you can do it with anything, right? I mean, you can do it with the Brussels sprout allegory. Like, I'd say most people in the U.S. aren't a big fan of Brussels sprouts, right? I am, and if every single day I walked into school and people were making fun of me for that, right? And people were like, this kid likes Brussels sprouts. That wouldn't make me feel very good. Maybe I could have gotten over it. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But it wouldn't make me feel good.
Alan,
yeah, I think that. Don't interrupt me. I think that the teacher. I think that if a 4th grade teacher came up and said, "Hey, little Alan, I like Brussels sprouts too," and that's okay. Yeah, I think that would make me feel a lot better. You want to talk about mental health? That's the best thing for mental health. Being heard and seen by an authority figure.
All right.
Do you agree though that it's how Brussels sprouts are cooked? Because growing up, everyone
a little bit. I like them. Yeah, I like them like boiled hard.
But there's the thing: when you roast them or you saute those bad boys, oh man, that's
you're into it. I'm so cool with the original. I feel it. I get it.
Yeah, you go to like a nice German restaurant where they do Brussels sprouts German style. You know what I'm saying? I guess my whole point with the whole being seen and heard thing is like, I grew up in a predominantly white area as a black kid. So I was one of 33 black kids in my entire school.
Yeah, I get you.
And like the left always talks about being bullied and not being heard, and not being seen, and how trans people self-delete and stuff. But like, I don't think that's the case, because us blacks, if that was the case, we would be self-deleting because we've dealt with a lot more crap than LGBT white people ever have.
And I'm really happy for you guys. I'm saying that it's not my fault that these people are feeling that they want to kill themselves. I don't know the solution for that. All I know is that if a kid comes up and says, "Hey, I'm different," I'm going to say that's okay.
Say self-delete.
Let AJ
Whatever.
Yeah. Say self-delete because of YouTube.
Oh, my bad. You're right.
My point is that
Hold on, boy.
we
I'm
have
listening now.
so growing up and where I grew up, right, and having situations where and even my mom, who grew up in like the Jim Crow South, where legally she wasn't heard or recognized. It's like, how is it that there's white people, because the majority of trans or whatever are white people who supposedly have all the privilege and all of that? How is there a group of people that are all of a sudden like the supreme victims more than anyone else? What I'm saying is that if us blacks in the South, when it was legal to discriminate and we were legally marginalized, and in some places in like sundown towns, we were legally not allowed to exist in certain areas, right? We weren't running for the razors and doing all the stuff that the trans are. How do you square that? Like I feel like we haven't really figured out the race issue yet in certain ways, but white people will take on some ambiguous LGBTQ label to try and like become the ultimate victims and lead the social justice conversation. Blacks, Asians, Hispanics have not been able to be really part of the social justice conversation for about the last 10 years, because everything jumps straight to, oh, would you rather have
dead child or a lost daughter?
Whatever. And it's like, wait a minute. I have probably dealt with more discrimination growing up than most people can really deal with. But like, it made me stronger. It made me.
And I'm really happy for you.
Inherent tribalism and stuff that's within people. Now, you can either make it build you up or you can let it tear you down, right? And then the other thing that I want to say is we had briefly touched about what was it, body integrity disorder? Was it body BIIT? Where the people, they're born and they're like, I shouldn't have a leg, and they try and get a doctor.
Yeah,
like,
but that's such an extreme. But that's such a fucking lame
you don't
example,
think
AJ. You know it is.
wanting to change your gender is the same?
No, I do not think that those are the same. I think,
Hold on.
how? What the fuck? Because one of them will paralyze you forever, and most people would say it's an impulsive, stupid, fucking rash decision. The other one is something you've been thinking about forever, and you say, this will make me happier. Listen,
you don't think that a person who thinks that they should be missing a leg or that they should be born blind from birth doesn't think that they have the same feeling that a trans person has, except gender's the variable and not having two legs? It's the same thing.
I think that they're I think that the way that we see them in society are very different. I think that if you want to chop, listen. I think that if you want to chop your leg off, I'm very libertarian when it comes down to this sort of stuff. I think that if you want to chop your leg off, fucking go for it, dude. I don't think that we should force every single doctor to do the procedure the same way that we don't force every single doctor to do trans procedures. Actually, it's surprisingly minimal, the amount of doctors that will actually do those surgeries. Anyway, I think that we should let people do what they want to themselves, for better or for worse. And I think that if historically a procedure that makes people more happy is allowed to be that way, I think we should just keep it. Because if it's making them happy and it's not making us sad.
Subjective. What I'm saying is that
happy for the person, though. Happy for the subjective person doing the thing.
Disorder, right? There was a girl who
it's fucking nuts. I think it's ludicrous.
Yes,
that's fine.
But her body is totally healthy, and she's looking in the mirror and she's tried to self-harm because she was never born blind. So something in her mental state is telling her the way that I am is not normal. I look in the mirror and my body is wrong, right? I was not supposed to be born in the body that I have now. So I have to alter it somehow to fit the way that it should be, which is just like body dysmorphia. It's the same thing. The difference is that in the last 10 years, a gender dysphoria, which is a body dysmorphia, has been moved towards normalization, and BIID, which is wanting to chop off your legs and arms and blind yourself, has not. And as a doctor, do no harm, There's no reason why any doctor should take a person who's human, whose body is within healthy parameters, meaning the heart beats, you have 10 legs, 10 toes, and based on someone's mental state, instead of fixing what might be wrong in the mind, changing the body to fit what could be some type of mental malfunction. That's what I don't get.
No, okay, I get what you're saying. I'll respond to that, and then I kind of gotta go, boys. But I'll just say this, and then you guys can talk whatever. You can just do whatever you want.
Alan, I got a question before you leave.
Okay, let me just answer that. I think that you've said that before, AJ, and I kind of agree with you. I do get what you're saying, that it's all completely subjective. I think that it's a new enough concept in like the popular cultural zeitgeist that I feel like more nuanced perspectives are going to come out of it anyway, specifically with my generation, because we've been exposed to it our entire lives through social media or whatever. So I feel like the other shoe will drop eventually, where we make the like distinctions. But right now, the medical distinction between the two things is hard lined, and is a division. And whether or not you agree with it, that's fine. I just don't think that we should be saying that trans people and people that want to blind themselves are on the same level. I'm not a doctor.
Okay,
I'm not a psychologist. Psychologists and doctors say that they're different, so I say maybe they're right.
AJ, let me ask him this question real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
If it came out tomorrow that being racist was genetic, would you then start defending the position that racists should be able to be racist because it is genetic?
No, I would start defend the position that we should rehabilitate them in any way, shape, or form.
That's a good point, my friend. That's a very good point.
And right now, the common consensus for how to rehabilitate trans people to get them out of their mental illness is to affirm their gender. So that's why I agree with that. That's what I'm saying.
We should.
If racism is genetic, then we should talk to these people, listen to these people, hear what these people are saying, find the root cause of what makes them present it.
We should change their positions, is what you're saying. Change their positions. Thank you.
Being racist is hateful and it hurts other people. Being trans, the worst that it's going to hurt is yourself.
Not really.
You disagree with me on that.
No,
you don't think that being trans affects other people?
If trans women being in women's spaces, it does.
We already went through this, and that depends, and that's why we should put third bathrooms everywhere.
Yes, I agree. So how do you feel?
So we should do that.
That there's a drop
there's a solution.
Amount of young people that are identifying as trans and queer now. There's studies showing
I would say that probably a lot of it was, like I was talking to DA and Real Rain earlier, like I said, there's two options for the type of kids that are going to say that they're trans when they're 12 or 13. There's the kids that are actually trans, and then there's the kids that we're looking for doing it for attention. And I think that the attention seekers are finally kind of getting weeded out the closer that they turn to 18, the closer that they turn to being able to make the medical distinction for themselves. The reason. So there you go. That's your answer. The attention seekers are out.
But Alan, to follow up on that, so say a kid comes out in the 5th grade and says he's let's just say he comes out at 5th grade because he's gay, because he's influenced by it. The social stigma, if he were to come out in the, let's just say, 10th grade and be like, you know what, like I was socially pressured into being gay when I was in the 5th grade.
Right, but I'm saying that I'll put it like this. No. Let me say this. Because once you get to the 10th grade and you realize I don't like men, you just stop. You just start going have sex with women. That's all. That's all you have to do.
Hold on.
All you have to do is go, oh yeah, you're right, I'm not gay. Maybe you don't say, if you're worried about a social stigma, then just don't talk about it. Because
hold on.
There's no social stigma against saying I'm no longer gay. Who fucking cares?
We're conflating sexual attraction and preference with gender.
Oh, it's all the same to most people anyway at this point. It's not. I agree that it's not the same, but it is to most people.
I know friends of mine that knew that they were gay from like a young age, right? Like that's like every gay person that I know said that when they were like in 3rd, 4th grade, they knew it for a fact, and now here they are in their 40s. I don't really see the issue with sexual preference as children with being trans and stuff, because there's no big pharma trying to push prescriptions to these parents to give to kids. There is no surgeries being done. If you just say that you're gay in 5th grade, like what does that even do? It doesn't really do much. So it's a different kind of ball game if you're talking about being trans, which could lead to certain permanent changes or whatever that could lead out and damage the rest of your life. I can tell you with 100%, all of the gay people that I've known and still know to this day knew from an early age that they were gay.
Yeah, I get you. Can I say something though? And I'll go.
Well,
Can you guess the number? I just one thing, and then I'll hear you out. I'm sorry. Can you guess the number of adolescents given like puberty blockers or hormone replacement therapy between 8? Oh shit! This is for 4 years between 2018 and 2022. Can you tell me what the number is?
One is
of how many children were actually given?
One is too many.
Like 926.
That's too many.
Of every child, that's somehow some like big. They're pushing it.
Yes, because if
that's
I were to
pushing
say,
it,
hey, how many?
That's big pharma pushing. If big pharma wanted to do it, they do whatever the fuck they want. They control my life,
and they are.
So if they were really pushing it, AJ, don't you think it would have reached out just a little bit more than that?
But
if they had an agenda, AJ.
Yes, because
don't you think they would have done a better job?
Because
I'm gonna check you real quick.
Look at this, guys. Here's the thing.
It was actually published yesterday. This PBS article. Wait 1 sec. Yeah, I'm listening.
Look at all these deep positions that are giving their statements, saying that they called Planned Parenthood. There was a woman, like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old teenager, or 18-year-old woman, called Planned Parenthood, said she's trans, all of a sudden got a script for hormones. Why would
a child or an adult?
Teenage to adult, so like 16 to like 18.
They do have to get their parents do have to sign off on that, by the way.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do in every state.
In California. What I am saying
in California, your parents don't need to sign off on. They have to sign off on me getting colonoscopies when I'm a kid. You're saying that they just I don't agree with you.
Is that if you are a doctor, let's just say that I'm a plastic surgeon, and all of a sudden I go, hey, wait, I can make a gender affirming care clinic, and because trans men get pushed into mastectomies like really, really, really quick, I can make myself a gender affirming care and do 18 mastectomies a week and make millions of dollars.
But are they?
Yes, they are.
Okay, then that's what I'm saying. The cultural zeitgeist around trans people has been changed forever from social media, and we're young people. When it comes to humans in general, we're fucking nothing. Even you guys, I know you guys are older than me. I'm specifically nothing, right? My opinion could change. Everything could change whenever you want. And I'm saying that, yes, within the next 20 years, if it comes out this was all some big fucking mistake and all these people are actually crazy, fuck it, sure. I'll call you and say you were right, AJ. But if it comes out that we were worried about nothing and that none of this mattered, then all we were doing is bullying children for no reason. And I'd much rather be on the side that took a little bit more care. I'd much rather be on the side that gave them a shot than the side that ends up being like fucking vilified forever for just causing more suicides. Yeah, like I'm sorry. Or self-deletions. Sorry.
Do you want to know what? Hold on. Let me state my position for Alan so that he can understand. Do you guys, Alan? You weren't old enough to remember this, but DA Real Rain. Do you remember back in the 80s when you would watch like a cop movie or like an army movie, and the black guy would always die first? You remember? There was a black guy in the movie. Like, where's Jackson? Ah! And then he get killed, But they started putting blacks in major motion pictures, right? It was just pandering to us, and it wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, LGBTQ people and women are at the space where blacks were in the 70s and the 80s. And if we
I agree. Actually, I totally agree with you
about the progress that was being made. Us blacks would be a lot farther along. What I'm saying is that there was potential for exploitation and mistreatment in the name of progress. And what you need to do as a LGBTQ person is understand who really has your best interest at heart, and not just actually go, "Oh, this is all great." Stop and take a second and think about
Right.
who K Bono, who benefits from LGBTQ people scared, panicking, overlooking common sense policy and stuff, because there's a huge Piers Morgan had a thing called the pink pound, and he was saying that in the UK, like the pound, their currency, there's a thing called the pink pound, where Harry Styles, how they say he ear baits. There's a whole lot of money for these people who are straight to act like they're these big allies and do all this quasi LGBTQ stuff when they don't really have your interest at heart. So
AJ, I agree with you. I've written papers about this actually. I've talked about it a lot with my friends. So yeah, the concept of the queer baiters and all this idea of like fake allyship, I agree. Yes, it's scummy. Yes, it makes them money. Yes, it contributes nothing to you or to me because I just like am something and then I go about my day. I don't really like being part of groups in general. So it doesn't mean anything to me. But I will say that from the people that I talked to and just from around the internet when I was looking into these things, like, yes, you can call the practicer of the baiting, I guess if you want to say, evil and scummy and money grubby, excuse me. But it really does seem to help the people, right?
No, it
And
doesn't.
whether or not you find the practicer to be
Learn from us
scummy,
blacks, Alan.
it really does seem to have a good
No, it doesn't.
effect on the people.
Learn from us blacks, because if you're gonna make a Black history a curriculum, anything past 92, Black History Month, we talk about Dr. King, we talk about Ella Fitzgerald, we talk about the same people. What would you add past the 90s that's Black history? We've stagnated. And that's because we fell for the okie doke in the 80s and the 70s and the 90s. Nothing was done for us. All I'm trying to do is say, look at what these politicians and these corporations are trying to offer your group and be careful, and just don't think that all of it's good and all of it's going to help, or you're going to end up just like us, where it's going to be 30 years from now and your group is going to be like, what the hell happened?
I actually really respect that opinion. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I totally get what you're saying. I guess the thing that I'm just saying is that I dealt with so many kids. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I was unpopular. I'm a pretty social guy. Like I was easy to talk to, but I definitely did gravitate towards like the the burnout type throughout my entire life. The rejects, which just sounds really stupid to say, but you get what I mean. And like a lot of these people growing up with dealt with really similar issues, and it sucked for them. Whether or not you think like we don't like playing the oppression Olympics, it doesn't really ever get us anywhere. But like yeah, I agree with your point. Black people have been 1,000 times more resilient than like LGBT white people. I totally agree. They bitch too often. They complain about things that aren't really worth complaining about. I do agree with you on that fact. I'm never going to disagree with that, but I'm just saying.
You'd be shocked at how much the BS that you've had to deal with has made you the person that you are now.
But all it's made me is someone who's willing to listen. Like that's what I'm saying. It hasn't affected my life negatively. All that it's done is just made me someone. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All it's done is let me see multiple perspectives of people, and right now my perspective, from what I've seen throughout my life and just history in general, is that yeah, you can go a little too far with the pandering sometimes, but it's almost always good to open the dialogue, whether it's for malicious reasons or not. It's better to open the dialogue early and then let it naturally figure itself out than close off the dialogue entirely and just pray that those people to figure it out on their own. And that's what I'm saying. So I think that right now we're at this like moment in time where we're gonna look back at this and go, wow, that was real interesting. For better or for worse, I have no fucking clue. I can't predict the future. But what I can predict and what I can is that I saw my friend who was trans get bullied by their parents and bullied by their mom and the dad and even their older brother and then people at school. And then when they turned 18 and they started their hormone blockers, they felt better about themselves. And I saw that and I realized that me being there for them and listening to their problems, whether or not I thought it was stupid or not, which I did most of the time, I'll be honest with you. Every time that I listened to their problems, it made them feel better about themselves. Whether or not I agree with what it was, all me doing is saying, I get you, I understand you, I see you, and I respect you, it helped and it did wonders, right? So like that's what I'm gonna keep doing with anybody. That's why I come and talk to you guys. I really like hearing the other side of the other perspective of things. So I'm gonna keep doing what I was doing and just being nice to people, whether or not I understand their plight, whether or not I understand what they're trying to go for. And I think that just being mean unilaterally, calling it a mental illness, doing whatever, blah 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 blah, taking the human aspect out of it, I think is always going to be the wrong part, the wrong side that you can take in history. Honestly, that's where I'm at with it.
Well, let me give you guys
Too
an
much
anecdote.
empathy can be a bad thing, but I'd much rather take too much empathy than too much apathy. Because apathy can lead to like
Um,
horrendous shit without even looking for it. Empathy leads to horrendous shit. At least we're all looking for it, and we can all try to help it. You feel me?
Let me give you an
I
anecdote. When
kind
I
of
was
but I
growing up, all right, when I was growing up, I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic neighborhood. I was basically raised by Hispanics. At no point did like these Hispanics influence me to be anything other than a white boy. They never said, "Hey, learn Spanish. Hey, become part of our culture. Hey, be a part of anything like that."
Mhm.
They just said, "Hey, you're a part of the community. We're going to keep you in the community, and we're going to take care of you." But they never pressured me into making me think I was Hispanic. What I was trying to tell you earlier is I do not like the idea that teachers who spend 8 hours a day with kids at sometimes
Yeah.
can influence kids to think they might be Hispanic.
But to think that they might be, and then for them to find out on their own naturally that they're not, is a lot better than
But
telling
I
everybody that you're not just for the one kid, one of 1,000, one of a million, doesn't even matter. For that
A
one kid
real
to
rain,
feel like they don't
real
exist.
rain. Question: have you heard the whole thing where they were saying not to teach the Bible in schools because there's only 8 hours a day, so they should only teach reading, writing, and arithmetic, right? Meaning, like that was the argument
Yeah,
to
like where we
say
kind of
don't
ended up
teach
at.
any religious influence or anything. If we have 8 hours per day to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic, how do we have time to add anything else like gender studies or any of that
We
in there?
don't, which is why we don't do it, because we don't do it. You
well,
guys make
Alan,
shit up
I'm still in
sometimes. I
school.
understand
Alan,
the concept of being worried about it, but we don't do it in the level that I think you think we do. The most that
California
I
does.
ever saw
Alan,
was part of my sex ed curriculum and my psychology classes.
Alan, you need to be a teacher. You're not a teacher. You're training
No,
to
I'm
be a
at the end.
teacher.
I'm at
You're
the
not.
end of the thing. All I need to do is my student teaching, which is what I'm doing. Like I'm done with the
Yeah, but you're
education
not
part.
a teacher yet. You're not a teacher yet.
Right, but I know how to be one. Like I've already seen like the
You
things
know,
that they're gonna make us be
you're
doing.
not.
Yeah, I guess I haven't sat down and
I
done it
know
all
how to
day,
play.
but
I'm not a guitar player.
what was it?
I know how to play guitar, but I'm not a professional guitar player. So you're not a teacher yet.
No, but
So
I'll
you
like
don't know
the
what.
same things that my teachers, that your teachers, that our teachers learn to become the teachers I've already learned. So I think that I do have a perspective.
You know what
I have a
business
more unique
influence. You
perspective
don't
than people
call
complaining about people in
influence.
schools. Yeah.
No, but you don't know about like quotas by the district, quotas by the principals, quotas by the state. You don't know about all the things that go into being on the teacher on the kind of like uh
Yeah, sure. Okay, I get what you're
business.
saying. In the state of Michigan, there is
So,
not a single thing in my understanding, aside from like specific books, I guess, that have queer characters in them, and sex ed. I don't think that I cannot say that I remember seeing, or I feel like it wouldn't be kind of important for them to tell me if we were gonna have to do that. So being that, and especially with the quote unquote narrative like that
tell
current
you they
college is trying to push, I feel like they would have let me know if there was even a chance that a principal's gonna decide today's gay day, Brad. We're gonna go do this.
that's
Come on, guys,
that's
go to
I don't think.
YouTube and put LGBTQ in schools and look at the myriad of news stories from all around the United States
Yeah, but like, what
about
is it? Just saying like, hey,
LGBTQ
here's gay people. We
in
had an extra
in
day.
schools.
Yeah, we
This
had an
is
extra. Okay, so we had
from
extra
the
time. I'm
news.
gonna talk about an issue. Like, yeah, fuck it. Why not?
What I'm
I don't
saying
know.
is
I don't
like
see the.
I thought
I think we just disagree. I don't find it to be dangerous.
okay. Let me ask him a question. You've heard of that book Gender Queer, right, Alan?
The book.
Yeah, Gender Queer that was like being put into elementary
Oh,
schools.
the one that they found like in the library of a
Yeah.
school. Yeah, I do remember seeing that.
Okay, would you be okay? And DA, you might not know the book, but I know AJ and DA growing the book. I'm talking about gender queers in this public library. Would you be okay with the Turner Diaries being in a public
You can't
library?
keep doing the Nazi thing because gay people are not Nazis. I understand what you're saying about this influence thing, but
But
I
it can
think
be
that it's a
considered an
lot easier to
ideology,
turn.
though.
I think it's a lot easier to turn a lonely white kid into a Nazi than it is to
Okay,
make
okay,
him
let's
gay.
not use
So
that
no,
word.
we're not allowed to. Oh, fucking fine
No,
about it.
it's YouTube, guys. Hey, okay,
You're right.
I say
Okay,
this on
okay.
my
I'll say
channel,
what should I say?
Alan.
I'll say
I'm not trying to berate you.
oh, of course not.
I tell my subscribers this all the time, guys. It's YouTube. DA's done a lot of work to get his subs up and being monetized. And guys, if it was up to me and DA, you could say whatever you want. But guys, it's YouTube, and I'm telling you, you can't say orange man. You can't say schmatzy. You can't say the R word.
No, it's
I
ridiculous.
think
I
DA,
hate it.
myself, we kind of made this
My
little
bad.
box of content now to where we can dance on the line and stay monetized. But guys, if DA or myself or anyone tells you to watch your language, it's no offense, guys. It's just they've been getting people as of late. So
Yeah, no, I get you. My
you
bad.
can't even say
no,
OF
I
now.
totally get what you're saying. No, I
You can't even
don't
say
take
OF now, guys. You can't say smolny fools. You got to say OF, or they will demonetize your video and take your stream.
Smony? Wait, I don't even know what FOF stands for.
Yeah.
Okay, but like
Anyway,
let's
sorry,
get
guys.
back to. But what AJ was kind of saying was, it's not a matter of like you're looking at it in terms of hate book versus
No,
loving
but it's
book.
not hate and love. I'm saying that I think it's. I'll
Looking
say it
at
like
it in
this.
terms
Let me
of
put it like this. I
ideology,
think that it is infinitely, in fact, as far of a number as you can get to that you can think of in your little head. Put a little X next to that. Times more easier. More easier. Jesus, I shouldn't be. I'm good at talking. I'm not supposed to be saying more easier. My bad, boys. I think that it's a lot easier to turn a lonely white kid into a Austrian painter enjoyer than it is to turn a lonely white kid into wanting to suck penis. I think that's a lot easier to put one ideology into a child's head than
See,
it is
I
the
don't
other one.
believe so. I don't believe
Because
so.
I
one
will
of them,
disagree.
but one of them involves me being in my room alone reading a bunch of bullshit and going, I don't like minorities. And the other one involves something that most kids aren't even doing in general, which is
Listen, though.
talking to people they
Listen,
enjoy.
there have been
And then also getting to that point and like going like, I read a book when I was younger. I must do this.
but
Even if I hate it, I have to do it now. No, that's
here's the
insane.
thing, though,
That is insane. No fucking kid who read that book is thinking about that book when they're 14 and they finally
listen.
let's say okay, the average age to lose your virginity in the United States is 18, right? Like I do not think that any fucking kid who read that book when they were 8 and they can't even fucking barely understand it. It's just like concepts to them, right? So they have these concepts in their mind, right? Oh boy, I do not think that it's going to carry with them all the way until they actually have a sexual encounter. And even
Okay.
if they do, if they aren't actually that, they're going to go, oh, this is gross. I don't like this. The same way that a lot of gay kids had to find out that they were gay, except they couldn't fucking talk about it. So yes, I think that letting us talk about it is a lot better than just pretending it doesn't exist, hoping that they'll do it on their own, and they're dead.
But no one's saying that. Okay. Do you remember how we talked about how
no, I do not. I would not care if my kid read gender queer.
Okay. Do you remember how we had agreed that you had said that the rate of identifying trans has gone down because there was people that were jumping on like a social bandwagon, right?
That's my theory. Yeah,
correct. Okay, that means that there was things like validation that they were getting. They were called brave. They were part of this movement and community that was accepting, right? Like even like that is just as appealing as a kid who would fall into like a extremist YT supremacist. What are they looking for? Belonging, validation, brotherhood, family, etc. And when some people who you would even admit identified as being some type of queer, even though they actually weren't, they were doing that for some reason. I would posit that reason is probably the same as that loner kid who would go over to be a schmatzi, a belonging, validation. I'm part of something. I'm part of something bigger. I'm part of something bigger on the Q plus side, or I'm part of something bigger on the schmatzi side. And you know, and I know, me being from Seattle and me having been on the far left, that the people on the far left are just as crazy and extremist and kooky as the people on the far right. The extremists are the same, and the techniques and the psychological manipulation that both sides do are the exact same. So I would say,
AJ, I gotta go, but I just have one question, and then because I totally get what you're saying. All of you guys, actually, this is like a pretty compelling argument. I totally feel it. The only thing is that, do you think that being a Nazi, Austrian painter enjoyer, sorry, my bad. Do you think that being let's just say extremist, a violent extremist who hates everyone that doesn't look like himself and has an inherent bias against every minority, every single kind of person that's just a little different, that usually leads to violence and contempt and an inherent anger that lingers with them for life? Do you think that is of the same caliber of extremism as having sex with a dude maybe sometimes?
Yes.
Like,
I'll tell you why.
If you want to conflate if you want to say that they're easy to get to, yeah, sure. Like, yeah, the acceptance and all these things. Do you think that they're of the same?
If it just stopped at that sex act you were talking about, but you know, and I know, there's people that are so far to the left that they show the same xenophobic, hateful rhetoric that the people on the right do. You delete all male babies, delete all straight people, all this other stuff. It's the same thing. Extremism is extremism, and act like one is more tolerant than the other. And I've said this once before. DA knows what shows what the biggest hole in the leftist ideology is. Asians. The fact that Asians are not allowed to exist in the social justice conversation. Anytime Asians come up, they're invisible. Any gripes that Asians have, you're invisible. They're not allowed in DEI. They're not considered oppressed. The narrative stops with them because Asians disprove every single thing that they're saying. Asian immigrants, Asian Americans, their ideology just can't. And the fact, and strike two, Muslims. That the fact that the left allows in the most intolerant group of people and then ends up showing out for them is absolutely insane. So those two things show the inherent flaw that you have, gays for Palestine. There was a large DEI conference at UT Austin that got canceled because it said DEI, but for everyone except whites and Asians. DA, you couldn't come. You couldn't go to the DEI conference because you're Asian. You understand?
That's actually no. Can I just say something to that, AJ? My daughter is, and English is going to get on me. My daughter is half Latina, and there is no box on the school paper for Latinos. It's white. It's like white, non-European,
and then white Hispanic, right?
But like, and the question I wanted to ask Alan, I see him in the chat, is like, when you say like there's an inherent thing with gays, or like with people that are same-sex attracted, or people that are pre-diagnosed to transgenderism, when we put that thing to racism, if you have an inherent bias, how is that any different from the point you were making? If like I were to say, like, if I could prove that racism is biological, would it?
You don't even have to go that far. If you can say that racism was an actual confirmed mind state, because dysphoria is a state of mind. So if you say that gender dysphoria is a state of mind that must be affirmed, why stop there? Why not say sexism is one, or racism, or nationalism, right? Why can't you say that if you're born with one mind state, Why can't you say that you're born with racism or sexism? You are correct. I think that's more of like a mental state. How are we more accepting and normalizing of one mental state over the other? And that's what I talked about body integrity disorder. Someone looks at their body and says, I was born wrong. I have a voice inside my head, a feeling that I cannot ignore that says I have this left leg and isn't mine. To the point where they self-harm and actually try and saw their own leg off. How is that different than someone but with gender as the variable and not the leg or the or vision? The only difference is we've normalized one, and the other one we still see as crazy.
Exactly. I mean, sorry. No. I just want to say I agree, because just like what you said with the Asian stuff and this one, it's the lack of consistency in the logic. Right? Lack of consistency in the logic. Because if you switch up the logic and put something else in it, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And that's what Real Rain was talking about too, with the books and stuff. Because if you switch it up, then it's a no-go.
Yeah.
That's why if your logic is not consistent, then you can see the flaws in it.
That's true. And also the left wants immigrants and Muslims and others that come from areas, because the West is the only place where this, LGBTQ stuff is actually big, is actually somewhat normalized. Even the most far right American will still live and let live their neighbors who are two dudes. They're not going to go over there and take them out. But large swathes of the world, the Middle East, North Africa, it's illegal. And yet the left wants more of those people to come here.
Yeah.
Like how?
And let me just say, I was not endorsing or condoning any of those mindsets. I was just bringing them up as an example of what you just said, like the consistency.
Yeah, that's why I get it, right? You weren't equating that one was equally as bad. You were just showing that this is the problem with a lot of times the left.
Yeah.
Why your logic is inconsistent, right?
Yeah.
Because if 2 plus 2 is 4 for one thing, why isn't 2 plus 2 equal to 4 for something else?
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly. And also too, as far as like white privilege and all this other stuff, now guys, I don't believe that there's white privilege. I don't believe in it. I think that there's majority privilege. Yes, whoever the majority is in the group has more privileges than others. If you go to China, there's Chinese privilege. If you go to Nigeria, there's Nigerian privilege. If all three of us move to Nigeria, we will be treated differently. That's how it works. But I don't have this cosmic sense of fairness. We live in a country where the majority just happens to be white. But I don't walk around expecting to be treated the same. It just doesn't make any sense. That would be like Real Rain growing up in that Hispanic area. He was a minority, so he wasn't treated the same. So what? Like what is this thing where people act like so white privilege, right? There's a weird thing on the left where they act like this whole transformer thing is somehow makes them more oppressed than anyone else. That they're just like number one check boxes. They're all deleting themselves. So everyone has to stop what they're doing and pay attention to them. And I think that that's honestly why so many young white kids, they don't want to be part of the oppressive white majority. So they take on some nebulous LGBTQ label so that they're part of the oppressed now. So they can have that oppressed checkbox and be like, oh, no, I'm not part of Real Rain's group. Real Rain's part of the oppressive white majority. I'm different. I'm going to lecture everyone else because I've checked my privilege and I'm LGBTQ, right? But that's the whole thing with how do you square the fact that you might be LGBTQ, but per their own leftist logic, you're still a white person. So don't tell me anything because I'm black. Dang it. And that DA is Asian. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what you're talking. But I'm just saying, according to their logic. So
no.
Yeah, and according to their logic, I'm going to tell you something. They want me to raise my half Mexican daughter as full Mexican and not raise her as being half white. They don't want me to teach her about like the European heritage. And if I do teach her about it, I have to teach her about how it was bad.
Yeah. That side of you is evil and it's so bad and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, when you realize that every single negative thing that they say that white people are just better at through history is all part of human condition. Africans, did bad stuff to each other. Asians did bad stuff to each other. Natives did bad stuff to each other. It just is what it is, right? And people really, 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 really think that even nowadays, how many times have you guys seen on TikTok and stuff where these people will travel outside the United States and be like, wow, I was just in Tunisia and women don't have any rights. I realized that America, that wasn't, you really think that America is like the worst place ever. Have you been to most of the Middle East? Everywhere from North Africa all the way to Azerbaijan is one of the biggest colonizations, the Arab colonization from North Africa all the way to Azerbaijan. There was thousands of indigenous religions, cultures that were all destroyed by Arab colonization. And in those areas, women have no rights and minorities are being systematically erased. The Coptics, the Kurds, the Druze, right, being exterminated. And no one says anything, but they sure will talk about the Brits and the French, right? Or the Spanish. It's like, well, no. Slavery is still going on. The Arabic slave trade never ended. They've been taking slaves from sub-Saharan Africa for thousands of years, and it's still going on to this day. Where is everyone marching for that? I just wish that people were actually more consistent and they would realize that in the United States, I think that we should do mandatory civil service. When people turn 18, they have to do some type of county, state, or federal service, not the military, but they should have to do like 3-month boot camp, get a skill, and then sent to like a 3-month trip outside the U.S. You know what I'm saying? So they could really, really understand how oppressive the Chinese government is, how oppressive that the Middle East is, and all these other places where you don't have any rights, and minorities certainly don't have rights. You guys think that if Real Rain, me, and DA moved to China, that we'd have any type of rights over there? Anyways.
No.
Well, Zyrax.
All right, Zyrax. We've talked about a lot of things. I don't know if you listen to everything. Any opinions on things that's been said? If there's not, we could always pick something out for you to talk about.
Well, hi. How are you guys doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You guys said a lot, but no, I'm willing to go with the flow. Whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm a parent, so I don't mind talking about parenting. I'm cool about talking about politics, whatever you guys want.
Well,
I'm good.
Have you heard of what we've been talking about so far?
Yes. Not everything, but then, well, okay, I do have I understand that a lot of people, especially on the right, you guys feel like that white people are being villainized and stuff for the shit that um white people have done. But then it's not like it's not so much as that the left villainize the whites or whatever. It's just they're just basically talking about history, right? At one point, every humans have started wars. Of course, we talk about the Chinese, right? Excuse me. Chinese, they were bad at one point. The Russia, of course, we see them as an enemy, so of course they're considered bad. Whatever happened in like just anywhere in the world, they're gonna we're gonna see them as bad if they did bad things, and that's all it is. It's not so much as that the left hate white people or whatever. It's like that doesn't even make sense because half of the left, like are white.
But don't you hate
Well,
yourself?
because she called out the only white guy on the stream right now. Well, let me say this,
Okay.
and AJ and DA will know exactly what I'm talking about. There is a certain group that has pushed self hatred amongst white
Exactly.
people. And that group of people that has pushed self hatred amongst white people realized back in the day it is easier to push that self hatred amongst the women. So when you say like, oh, like you look at leftists as this, well, if I were to tell you that 2/3 of Chinese people were in Congress, the majority of gun control activists were Chinese, the majority of LGBTQ advocates were Chinese, the majority of illegal immigrants advocates were Chinese, you would say we have a problem with the Chinese, would you not?
Um, no.
In America, not in where you are, but you would say that there is a issue with the influence the Chinese has on the American population, right?
I mean, if they're Americans, then why would you have a problem with that?
No, I said Chinese people that had everything I just said. Chinese nationals that had that control and that
Yes, I
influence
would have
on
a problem.
American
Yes,
people.
I would have a problem with, like other
And so when I mention a certain group that calls themselves God's chosen people have an influence on that, I'm called a bad word. So what I'm saying is we white people have been programmed to be self-hating individuals by said group of people. And so when you
No, wait,
say
hold on. If I
I
could
don't
just
know.
like,
I don't.
so sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't even think that it needs to go that far, right? Think about it. I am me being black, and DA can say this too. DA, how many times have you met like a new white person? Maybe you're at the store or you're at the bar hanging out, and the first thing that they'll try and do to like get in your good graces is talk bad about white people. Well, you know how white people are. It's like, no, I don't. Like I have white friends or whatever. Like or like stupid white people. It's like, what are you talking about? How many times I had one girl that I know we're at a happy hour, and she's like, I just wish that there was less white people. And I'm like, well, fine, delete yourself then. She was trying to say
Well,
that there was too many white people, and then like looking around, like, look at me, I'm one of you guys. I'm woke. I'm woke. Is this thing where like the average millennial, younger Gen X, and Gen Z doesn't want to be like white person doesn't want to be a vanilla ice cream. They want a flavor, right? They don't want to be part of the oppressive white majority. So what they do is they'll either claim to be some type of like I said, nebulous LGBTQ, or they'll go hella hard and like and white guilt, and then showing out for minorities. Oh, you can't talk to my Asian friend DA like that. How dare you? Check your privilege. DA, I did good,
wait,
right?
but is that
I
not
did
is that
good.
not a good thing though? I don't
No,
understand. Is that not a good thing?
no,
So
because
we
it's
don't want
perform-
so we don't want white people to support like minorities.
we want it real support and not have it be performative. I don't
I
want
understand there are some that are perform. Yeah, I get that some are performative, but
yeah,
then not all of them are performative. All it's just that as you know, I think um, I think more are as we mix. The more we mix, the more we become understanding of one another, and I think that's just what happened. Because not even that long ago, it's usually you have white people that's making fun of minorities, right? And it's just a reaction, and
yeah,
that's how I see it. So
yeah.
like I don't know. I don't see how yeah, I don't see this that there's like a small minority of white people trying to condition the majority of white people to self-hate.
Um,
That's just weird to me.
I
that
think white guilt is widespread with the left. Like this white guilt, there's no reason why. Like people on the left will clown Christians about the original sin concept, right? But then they believe that whites in America suffer from the original sin that a small group of whites own slaves. So it's like, well, all you guys must suffer for the sins of your ancestors. It's like no one owns slaves today. I'm black, even though I have my great, 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 great granddad's freedom papers. I was never a slave, so no white person's ever done me wrong unless they've done it personally. But there's just this group of people that I grew up with, especially in the Northwest, in Seattle, that feel like they have to personally see all white people atone and check their privilege and all this other stuff. It's like, no, like the top 12 poorest counties in the United States are 99% white. There's whites in Appalachia where the mountain got fracked and their water lights on fire. They're 80% unemployed, on welfare, and on opioids that live a life of poverty that blacks, Hispanics, and Asians in this country can never fathom. But because they're white, they're told somehow you have privilege over middle class Asians, blacks, etc. You know, so.
You think when the black people
yeah,
went through the crack epidemic, do you think there's that kind of empathy towards black people?
But the majority of
there
blacks weren't on crack, though.
Yeah,
there was
like how
though.
majority of white people weren't on aren't going through that crisis, the opioid crisis, right?
No. Like, hold
Uh,
on. Like,
that wasn't the point.
you're kind of conflating like two different things. And AJ, I'm glad you got the point I was making earlier. But like, you're conflating like just because a this group isn't suffering at the rate that we say they are or we think they are, doesn't mean they're not suffering.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying,
Yeah, you
no, I'm not. I'm saying have the same, just have the same, like understand why they're reacting that way. That's it. I'm not saying that it's right
no,
because as a lefty, I wouldn't say anything, close to that.
but as a lefty, you view no matter what happens as a lefty,
Hmm.
I can tell you that the reason why right now today, the reason why a kid from Chicago with the last name that starts with F is getting so popular is because white boys were suffering and he is the voice of those people. And you will say, why were they suffering? Who cares about them? Like, do they not understand there's real struggles out there? But like, why are these white boys suffering?
Yeah, I guess the issue that people don't understand, and Andrew Wilson talks about force doctrine, right? About like how, he says that women get their rights from men because we own the monopoly on force. But I would even take it a step farther. If white people in the United States decided to take all minorities' rights away, we're cooked. We're cooked. We can't stop them. If the
So
majority of
therefore, we should be thankful. We should
no,
be appreciative,
we
and we should
shouldn't
do whatever they want.
antagonize them either. We should keep. Dr. King wasn't antagonizing whites. He was trying to appeal to their humanity. Okay, to actually make them understand that we're all human beings. He was not separating people. Martin Luther King, he was bringing people together. And now the modern left with critical race theory and trying to make whites feel bad, it's making that divide come, and it's starting to make whites feel that they're fundamentally different from blacks, Asians, and Hispanics, and that could lead backwards and not forwards. Dr. King said you need to be judged by the content of your character, not the color of your skin. And the way that I see it now, I see the left judging whites a lot more than the right judges blacks, Asians, and Hispanics. I would even say that
Why do you think Dr. King said that though? Why did he say that?
He did say it. He did say it.
I know. Why did he say it?
I don't.
because that's the way to build bridges. That's the way
Because
to
that's because whites were judging minorities.
yes. And they
I'm not
And
stop.
saying that we
and
should do that in return, but see, you guys are saying that that's what the left is doing in return, right? They're
they
trading
are
the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
they are they
Yeah.
are. That's what you're not understanding. You're not understanding. A kid entered high school in 2016 not knowing anything about politics. The day he started freshman year, he was told, "You are bad because you are
Yes.
white." He was told, "You are bad because you are this." He was told, "You are bad because you were born into an oppressive class." And his teachers taught
Yeah.
him that. His principal taught him that. His society
Yeah.
taught him that. And then when he graduated, one kid taught him, "No, you're okay. You're
Yeah.
good." And that is what led to him going to the far right. It is not a matter. The left does not want to admit this,
That's not
but
happening on a
y'all
national
created.
scale, though.
Yes.
No, 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 stop. No, I was making a point. The left created the issue of the modern day far
Yeah.
right, where people are coming up with the term black fatigue. I do not like
I
that
love it.
term.
I am black. I
You know
love it.
what?
I have more black
Uh,
fatigue than anyone else because I have some sense. I was raised by professional black parents. I'm not ghetto. I talk white and sound white. I've had black fatigue my entire life.
hey, AJ, can I finish this point?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the left created the issue that they are now complaining about. And now that the fact that young white men are getting to, can I swear?
No F bombs. YouTube doesn't like F
Now
bombs.
that white boys have no F bomb. Now that white boys are effing working together and you're scared, don't come crawling to me saying that bullcrap. Y'all created this issue. Y'all fix it.
Yeah. And guys, I've grown up around white people. I have white friends. I have white friends that are redneck country boys. My best friend, he's a good old boy from Elma, Washington, and they're some of the most welcoming people I've ever heard. And telling a white guy that you need to accept that you were just born racist is the same as telling me as a black guy that I was born a criminal. It's not true. And what I'm saying is all that's coming from the left. And guys, the reason why I know that this is true because I used to believe this. When I was in my early 20s and I was in college in Seattle, I was taught the same thing. This revisionist history that whites are just born bad and is better at racism and all this other stuff than anyone else. And you honestly believe that like white people, the moment that you say white people need the ... you lost me because they don't need to do anything. The average white person, the average Hispanic, the average black is getting up, going to work, trying to raise their kids just like anyone else, except the left thinks that the average white guy gets up, takes a shower, and decides, I'm going to oppress a woman today, or I'm going to oppress a black person. And that's just not how it works.
Here, I wanna say something. Wait, Zyrak, I want to give you the spotlight, right? But I want to say this before I'll give you the spotlight for a good amount of while. Just looking at it as an Asian person, right? Through an Asian person lens, is that why I'm not a fan of the left is that again, one, I believe the left is creating and promoting a divide, and pushing a victimhood mindset, right? And that's why it's like it has to, and to have a victimhood mindset, you need a villain, which is the white man. So creating a victimhood mindset and making white men the villain still after years, which in my honest opinion, America should be more unified, but we've created where we are still needing a villain. So this is why I'm also tired about how certain Asian people, right, at least on social media, is like still they're joining the bandwagon of hating white people or creating white people as the victim. So again, this is why we all talking about the problem with the left is that they're not unifying the country. They're actually pushing more of a divide. And you see that plenty of times. So, I wanted to say that, but I want to give the floor to Zyrax because she's been patient. So what's your thoughts on everything?
Okay, to me, okay, all this sounds um, bonkers because okay, if you're getting validation from just some, some dummy online, if someone, or even like someone that you go to high school with is telling you that, oh, you should hate yourself because you're white, and you go, oh, okay, then maybe something, then yeah, you need to get yourself like, you, I don't know, you need to talk to your parents or something like that. It's like, when you go to school and someone tells you, oh, you're this, like who goes, okay, yeah, I believe you. Like
No,
when I
but
was growing
Zyrax,
up,
you're
going no, no,
Better
hold on,
examples.
growing up, going to school, people tell me, oh, you're a cheat, you're this, you're that. Am I gonna be like, okay, yeah, you're right? So therefore, I'm gonna start hating on, like a certain group. That's so silly to me. And
no, but
you
Zyrax,
want to talk about victim mindset, you know, well, you're the people that's, you don't think that with, the small percentage of, I guess you could say, like on the far right, you don't think they have a victim mindset? What do you think they're doing right now? So it's okay for you guys
okay,
to have
can
a
I?
victim mindset, but it's not okay for everybody else to have a victim mindset, right?
No, like
Your
what you're
your you
like
know
you're
your problems matter, but then everybody else's problems don't matter.
no, like what you're doing is you're conflating what I'm saying. I'm saying a young kid started high school at the age of 2014 as a freshman. Not some other kid, not some bully told that young kid he was just a cracker. I'm saying the teachers said that. The principal said that. The superintendent said that. Depending on the state representative said that.
But
It
that's not
was
that's no,
systematic.
that's not what's happening though.
It is what happened. It did happen. You can't say it's not something that happened. It's not happening. It did happen. From the time Trump took office in 2016, that's when we saw the rise in all of this. All of the DEI stuff took place in Trump's first term. So you cannot say it did not happen. It fucking did. I'm sorry, DA. It did happen. And you cannot now say
I must miss the memo
today,
then because I have kids. I have kids. Well, they're teenagers now, right? And
they're
I
teenagers now. They're teenagers now. They were not teenagers in 2016.
yeah, but then
That is what I'm talking.
yeah, but I'm involved with my local school district.
But that's now. That's now. That's not back in 2016.
So are you
Do you
okay?
not understand?
Okay, because that happened in 2016. Are you saying that now, your mindset is now set in stone? That there's no way, there's no going back. No one can tell you that, oh, what they did was wrong, and you're not going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that was messed
Or
up. Majority of
how can
people
I
don't
teach?
think like that. Maybe that was just
How
my
can I
local
teach?
area.
How can I teach them that was wrong? If people are happen today, how can I do that, Zyrax?
Uh,
Break the silence, DA.
yeah. So what I would say this, right? The whole thing where this is the thing where we don't understand, right? I'm not saying that, oh, the far right is fine to be victims, or anyone is fine to be victims, right? That's not what I'm saying. Is that, you are, it's more like the moral high ground, right? Where the left constantly put out that they are more morally sound. They're on, they're better, right? They're not racist. They're not this. They're not that. But in reality, in practice, you're seeing it where they're pushing this narrative. So they're creating said villains, right? They're creating people that, you know what, in my honest opinion, they're creating the far right, right? Because in a sense, uh, it's all good, right? Your earbuds went out. I get it. Um, this is the thing where we don't understand that. You know, when you have, I believe, a growing left wing that is extremist, you're going to have a far right. So I don't necessarily agree with either side, far right or not. But I'm more on this thing where I don't believe the right is necessarily being victims, because a popular narrative within the right, the right is like pick yourself up from the bootstrap, right? To, you know, be better and stuff. So that's my thing. Uh, she probably had problems, so she had to go. Oh, she's back.
Yeah, but like I don't think she like truly understands like how her ideology has created the people that she's rallying against. So it's like kind of what you just said, like
Creates the villains.
villains are not made, they're created.
They're
So
not
it's
born. They're not born. They're created.
yeah, so it's like you can't
So
tell
this,
these kids
how can you
go
say that, the left has created, the right when this country has always been, either you're on, excuse me, either you're on the left or you're on the right.
Hmm.
because you're not like you're not like I feel like you're not engaging with what I'm saying. You're just waiting to say respond to what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is a young white kid, Zyrax, listen
Hmm.
to me. A
Okay.
young white kid entered high school in 2016, freshman year. His teachers told him he was bad because he was white. His principal, if he went to complain about that, told him you cannot complain because you are white. Then, when he went home, depending on his home structure, said you have to deal with that because you are white. And then this kid is growing up through all this animosity. And you are telling this kid to come out of that animosity and be normal. What did you expect was going to happen?
Okay, if that really happened,
It
um,
does. It did. It did. It's not a matter of if it really happened. It happened.
okay, then what would you, um, okay, so what is your solution then? What do you think the left should do?
I think
If
the left should say stop teaching racial identity, start teaching curriculums, and treat every child as equal. That is what I think the left used to stand for that. They don't anymore. They
um, I,
don't.
I, I definitely agree with you there because me, even though I'm a lefty, I do consider myself a nationalist. I'm for, America because I'm American. So,
Hmm.
to say that like today's, that schools aren't teaching the curriculum, they're teaching, identity politics. They're not.
They are.
They're not. They're not.
It's not an absolute, right? Let's not do that, right? I mean, I'm not saying everyone are, but there are teachers, because again, a lot of a lot of teachers are Democrat, are left. So yes, I mean, not like a curriculum, but I've seen teachers put in, talking about their own personal views, their own thoughts, their own politics. So yes, they do. Not everyone, but there's no absolutes. There are teachers that are definitely trying to push ideologies. Okay, that is actually very true.
If there are teachers that are teaching, identity politics, like I said, I, it's usually at a college level, or if not, then high school level, right?
But no, like that's what I was telling Alan earlier. The same way I do not want a Hitler or a mustache man flag in the classroom is the same way I do not want this ideology's flag taught in the classroom. These are the things that like what we're saying is like the influence these symbols have on children affect them long term. That's what like I've been trying to say like this whole time. I don't know what you're not understanding about it. I understand that LGBTQ people exist. I understand that I'm going to teach my daughter to treat everyone equally. I understand all that. But I'm saying the equality the left pushes for, they do not show to white men.
Well,
If you do not understand that, then you're living in a different state, city, and probably country than we are.
mm, see, okay, here's my thing though. If that is the case,
No, no,
don't
like
you see?
Engage with what I just said. Don't just say like, "Here's my thing." Engage the point I just made.
I am. See, the reason why it's hard for me to I'm having a hard time accepting that as reality though, because I just I don't really see it on a big scale, on a majority scale. Now, I'm not, I'm not
It's
denying that it may happen on a smaller scale, right? But then usually
how
when, when we have conversation, we tend to speak like, in general terms, or, in the majority, we speak on the majority, not the minority.
Well, don't you? But in general, you don't see. I mean, you're not seeing how we do. Always point out white people. Like white privilege is very. I mean, like we are pretty much the same age. When we were young, white privilege was not a thing, right? We weren't like, oh, every minute someone's talking about white privilege. So we do
Yeah,
see that
because
we're
we
building
didn't
up.
recognize it. We didn't recognize that it was white privilege
I think no, as kids we didn't
because
care
white people have been in power.
because
That's
we
the
didn't.
thing.
That was not the. We didn't care about if you were white, if you were black. That wasn't the thing. But now we're recognizing, oh, you're white, so white privilege. We're thinking about the past more often. In my opinion, when I was growing up, I felt like we were more together. Yes, we maybe say things, but still, I felt that we didn't care or look at skin tone on that level. Right? It wasn't always the case. Now we're always talking about race. We're always talking about racism. We're always talking about white privilege. And in my what kind of Rain is saying that kind of mentality, the fixation on it, is actually hurting people. Where yes, there are white kids, and I seen a video of a white kid saying that a white college kid, right, young white college kid said that one of the things he hate is that he's white. I would like that. I would hate that for anybody to say that they hate because they're Asian, they hate because they're black, they hate because of. So it's crazy to see a young white kid saying that they hate that they're white, right? And that's what we're creating. Big, and that's what we're talking about, right? We're constantly fixating on race, and we're not improving, right? Even if let's say like even you said we didn't notice. Well, now we're noticing. How is it going for people? We're not doing better because we're supposedly noticed now, and that's the thing, right? It's not improving because we noticed. It seems like we are more divided than ever before than when I was a kid, right? And all of us are
That
pretty much the same age.
Yeah, but then that's not because of the left. That's because of technology. It's because we have, access to, we're able to, you know, I mean, we have access to pretty much anybody, and right. I mean, back then, the reason why you don't really hear about it is because, you know,
Someone's
you
pushing
would
it.
only hear from people that's around you, not
Yeah,
from people like, yeah, across the states.
you're right. We're more. We are definitely more
We're
global,
more
but
connected.
pushing
Yeah.
it, right? It's the left. The left is pushing it instead of pushing unity, right? Instead of pushing, togetherness. It seems like the left is pushing
How
more
can you
divide.
say that the left is pushing, a divide when the left is all about inclusion?
How?
Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk.
I don't care for Charlie Kirk.
No, that's
Oh,
my
we gotta make
point.
an episode on that. We gotta make an episode on that one.
That's my point.
So what?
That's my
He's the mouthpiece for the right. Is that what you're saying?
no.
Like
I'm saying
I'm not gonna listen to Charlie Kirk. He's just one guy. I'm gonna
no.
listen to the consensus of the Republican Party.
Okay, no. Because Zyrax, you just said so much without saying a lot. You just said, I said, you said, who cares about Charlie Kirk? He's just a mouthpiece for the right.
No, I'm asking. I'm like, is he the mouthpiece for the right?
No, what I'm saying
Okay.
is, what I am saying is, the left in history has always been the side that was about we mourn our enemies, even though they were our enemies. We pray for the fallen, even if we do not agree with them. And then we saw leftists cheering when Charlie Kirk got murdered. So when you say, how is the left creating this divide when they cheer for what you just said was a spokesperson for the right?
No, I didn't say he is.
No,
I asked
no,
you if he is.
No, you did say he is.
No, I said no. I said he's one person. I said he's one person.
King Jr.
Is he the mouthpiece of the right?
Martin Luther King Jr. was one person, but we saw the
Yes.
influence he had.
Yeah. But that I've never said that Charlie Kirk doesn't have any influence or any.
Okay, but do you understand when you celebrate the death of like in MMA, when we beat our opponents, we do not gloat over their defeat. We shake their hands and then we celebrate our victory. When the left saw Charlie Kirk die, there was not an overwhelming group of people on the left that said, "This is terrible. Stop."
No, there are, but then you guys tend to focus on the one that has the loudest, the biggest mouth.
Well,
You
No,
say that the left weren't saying, hey, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't, it's disrespectful to talk
name
about the dead.
name 5 people that said we should not do that on the left, and I'll wait.
Are you saying that none of the Democrat, representatives, said anything?
AOC went in Congress and called him a racist.
But that's AOC though. See,
You said
you guys tend to pick and choose. You guys tend
oh,
to pick and choose who you guys want to listen to.
oh my God! You
you gotta
just
say,
said
those are the biggest mouth, right?
you
Even if
just
it's the loudest, those are
Da
the
Da. Let me finish this. You just said name a figure on the left that celebrated, and when I give you an example, you just say, "Oh, well, he's one person." So even when I give an example of someone on the left being horrible, you make an excuse for him. Do you not understand that you're defending evil people? My God,
Where are you getting this?
you just said that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, DA, did she not just say AO, name a representative on the left? And I said AOC, and she said that's one
No,
person.
no, I didn't say name a person at all.
Yeah, you did. You said name a representative.
No, I didn't.
Yes, DA.
it did sound like you said
I said you. No, I said what you would call it. That just because there's a small amount of people that
And then you said name a
huh?
representative.
See, and this is the thing. You don't let me finish my sentence, so therefore you cut me off, and then you don't hear my answers.
yes,
You
yes.
know,
Let's not cut each other
yeah.
off.
I'm just saying that just because there's a small amount of people that's on the left, cheered on or whatever over CK's death and stuff, that does not represent the whole left. There's definitely there's definitely people on the left, myself included, that it's not for that because you're not supposed to speak ill of the dead.
But don't you
But
don't you
then
see that?
because you have some people, but because you have a small amount of again small amount of people that cheer it on, you guys go, oh, the left, look at the left, they have no values or whatever. They look at what they're doing.
But you don't see that it's like usually the biggest people in the left, even though they're the loudest. It's the biggest people. It's usually the
So
biggest
sh-
content.
so so on the day that CK passed away, you're saying that AOC said, "Oh, he's a racist," or she said that before.
I didn't bring AOC, so
I'm
I
sorry,
don't.
Rain. I couldn't hear you, Rain.
So AOC, when they brought a bill into, or they just brought a, like the mentioning of it, she said Charlie Kirk was a racist on the foot of Congress. She is a
Yeah, but that's her opinion, though.
right, but do you not? Okay, so let me hear this out. You
Just
just said we should not speak ill of the dead. Did she just say that, DA?
yeah,
Yes.
that's my personal. Yeah, I don't think you should ever speak ill of that. Yes,
Okay, so
me.
you just said we should not speak ill of the dead.
Hmm.
AOC, a leftist politician, goes into the front of Congress and says Charlie Kirk was a racist, which is speaking ill of the dead, and she is a prominent voice on the left. And you do not see that as a problem. And the fact that you do not see that as a the fact that you do not see her doing that as a problem is a problem.
No, it's not that I don't see it as a problem. I just, I'm just not going to say, I'm just not going to make a broad statement and say the left, because AOC said that, that means the left believes that.
Well, when the left doesn't condemn the bad actors, it kind of makes everyone think that, okay, then everyone follows it.
No, I mean,
Because the
that's
left
just her
doesn't really
opinion. She
condemn.
sees CK as a racist. That's her.
Can you show me one
I'm just,
Can you show me one Twitter post, one Instagram statement where you have said, "Hey, I did not agree with Charlie Kirk, but we should not be celebrating his death"?
no, I don't,
Well,
I
she's
don't have
probably
Twitter. I don't have, yeah,
But you
but
have some
have
kind of
you,
social media.
I don't do social media.
anyone, have you ever seen anyone, right, on the left actually condemn, bad actors on the left? Because in my opinion,
Well,
I don't think I mean, like maybe, but I rarely ever see anyone on the left, small or big, actually condemn, uh, you know, people on the left.
yeah,
Not, I
but
mean,
that just speaks to their character, though. Not so much, not as the whole party. That's my point.
Okay. Let me ask you this: have you ever
So
heard the term?
hold on, Ray. So Donald Trump, right, our president, right? No. Let's not use Donald Trump. Um, um, Nick Fortress, right? He is for what do you call it? Um, he's for um race preservation. I guess in a way you could sort of say, right? He's for majority whites and stuff like that. You
uh,
know, should I go? Oh, that's the whole Republican Party. They believe that also,
but the whole
huh?
Republicans don't agree with him.
You hear voices.
Exactly. Exactly.
Kids,
I'm not going to condemn the whole Republican Party just because one person in the Republican Party believes, believe what it, believe he or she believes.
but no one
No,
supports him. No
but
one,
like,
no one bigger supports him.
you're using the Nick Fuentes fallacy. Like you're literally
No,
using.
that's what you're doing, and I'm
No,
telling you that that's not how I see things. I'm not gonna just because AOC said he's a racist. You
no.
know,
You're looking at AOC as being like, you asked me a question of if a prominent leftist figure said something, and I gave you the example of AOC. Me and DA have brought up to you that a lot of leftists, a lot, a lot, went online after Charlie Kirk died and made videos celebrating his death. You are bringing up to me saying, "Hey, Nick
okay,
Fuentes."
what do you mean by celebrating his death?
I
If
mean,
they just if they just spoke on him, they
no,
just gave their opinion on the guy. That's
my
not
God.
really speaking ill of the dead, though, right? And
Oh,
I mean, that's not celebrating. I'm sorry, that's not celebrating his death.
okay, so there was a TikTok video that said, "We got Charlie Kirk in the neck, in the neck. We got Charlie in the neck, in the neck."
And a
There are,
lot.
Why are you listening to that? Why are you listening to that? Nobody.
It's,
oh my God, you're not even,
you
your
got
logic doesn't make any sense.
Like
Like,
who? No. Like who cares what that nobody says? That's my problem. Why
no,
are
but
okay,
you
you got
listening to the worst, like the worst of the party, like the worst person out of the party, instead of
because
listening to the majority of people?
no one in
See,
the
we're not
party,
listening to Nick Fuentes, right? He's the worst of your party. We're not listening to him.
okay, but like, you're not like really like what
So
I'm
you're not,
saying.
no, you're not sending the same grace that we're giving you. See, we're not going to say that your whole party is has the same mindset or same ideology as Nick Fuentes. But then for
Okay,
some reason, that's what you guys are doing to the left.
because I did not see when Nick Fuentes talks, you have people on the right that speak out against Nick Fuentes. Do they not?
No, does Tucker Carlson speak out against him?
Yes.
Who speaks out against him?
Tucker Carlson called him a weird gay kid from Chicago. Candace Owens said he was disingenuous. Ben Shapiro constantly called him a right-wing troll. Mike
Yeah, the only one.
says the same thing. So, like, I'm like giving you like prime examples of people on the right that are speaking. Name one person. I just gave you 5 people that spoke out against Nick Fuentes. Give me one person that spoke out about the death of Charlie Kirk. Because Destiny went on Piers Morgan and said, I'm not going to mourn Charlie Kirk because he's a hate monger. I'm not going to mourn this guy because he was a hate monger. You have all these examples
Yeah,
on the.
that's not
So,
celebrating him though. That's not celebrating his death. He's just saying that he's not going to mourn him because
okay,
he's not going to mourn someone that he don't know or that's not on his side.
they
I don't
didn't.
see anything wrong with that.
Okay, so you're saying you just said we shouldn't celebrate a death, but it's okay to go on a national syndicated program and be like, well, he was an asshole, so I'm not going to mourn his death. That's what you're saying.
No, he didn't go on there just to say that. He
He
was
did.
asked a question and he answered.
Oh my God, like you're delusional. You are so delusional. You are so ideologically bent that I can admit when a right winger does
No,
wrong,
you are.
admit
You
when
are.
others do wrong.
You
You
are.
just
No, I could no, see, I
Okay,
could
guys.
concede, when the left does something wrong, I can
you're
point that
not
out. But
You
you're
I'm
guys,
not
sure you can't point out nothing that your side has done wrong, right?
I can
Have
I can point out a lot of things my side has done wrong. I do not
like what?
agree. Okay, I cannot agree with the overextent of the deportations. I cannot agree with the overwhelming support for Israel. I cannot agree with 9/11 and going to Iraq. I cannot agree with the push for censorship on a mainstream level. I cannot agree that we should make things more inclusive while also
A
maintaining
majority white?
no, maintaining a healthy boundary amongst LGBTQ activities. I can agree with
let's
all of that
cool
with
down a
you.
little bit. Let's cool down a little bit. I
But
want
that's
to.
what you just list off is what pretty much majority of the right believes though,
No, no, they don't.
except for the Israel position. I understand that like half
The
believe and
LGBT.
half don't.
I am probably radical compared to right wing counterparts on LGBTQ stuff.
Okay, let's cool down a little bit. Let's. I want to give Red Door, uh, some spotlight. What's up, my sister?
Hi, good evening. How is everyone?
Good, good.
Good to see you, Red Door.
I just want to make a comment and bring it to people's attention because I stand outside the circle looking in. Being native, I've always been outside the circle looking in. And back when we had the Dakota Access pipeline issue at Standing Rock Reservation because the Army Corps of Engineers wanted to put the pipeline across Lake Oahu and then they didn't have an easement. That's basically what the protest was about. So, all the natives, mainly all the Sioux in South and North Dakota, were getting together for the protest. But then what happened was the left jumped on the bandwagon. They came in droves to the reservation, even with some leftist politicians like Jill Stein and some others. They came in droves. Little rich girls off from buses with their designer purses. Now, this is native land. And it was just so clear that it was a protest, so they were going to jump on the bandwagon. They didn't even understand what the protest was really about. They didn't have any respect for native land. They caused such a mess that they left behind 24 tons of garbage, debris, and human which cost over $1 million to be to be removed and cleaned up, from the reservation. And they were just there acting like fools, causing problems with law enforcement and tribal police. And, it's kind of like, oh, well, there's a protest. I don't care. It's a protest. I'll go. Just so I can go. And it's that leftist ideology about, there were quite a few arguments because Native people were telling these people, you don't understand our cause. You don't really care about our cause. You have no respect for us or our land. And you're just here because it's a protest. It became very clear. And and when it comes to left, when I run into somebody on the left and they start talking about Native American stuff, I tell them to shut the F up because I have a voice. I'm a tribal member. I have a voice. I have a history. My people have a history. You don't know anything about it. And so when you say they're inclusive, they're not inclusive. They're just creating havoc and chaos where wherever they go. It's like I just don't understand it. It's like it doesn't even it's like, you can't even be safe on the reservation and they come piling in and it was horrible. You need to look up the garbage that was left behind by these leftists. And it's just
So were you a
horrible.
left were you a leftist before the protest?
No, I've never been a leftist. I'm a traditional Native American. I follow my culture and my teachings. I'm a
And
Right.
tribal
that's
member. I'm an elder.
okay.
So,
But so you don't. So there's not a political party that you lean towards.
no, I don't
Oh,
lean
okay.
toward any political party. I'm a
Okay.
nonconformist. And that's why I said I stand outside the circle looking
Okay. I got
in.
you.
I
Um,
just,
I'm
but
sorry. Go
it
ahead.
was pretty easy to tell. To distinguish the left from the right people that were there because the right people that were there were respectful. They weren't leaving trash around, and it was, it was.
Well, of course they
You
weren't
need
there
to
though.
look.
They're
You
because
need to
they wanted the pipeline. They wanted to drill. So why would they be there to protest?
who? Why would who be there to protest?
The reason why it's the left that was there to protest because they were against the pipeline, the drilling.
Because they will jump on any bandwagon protest they can. They don't even care what it's about as long as it's a protest and they can say, oh, I'm worried about the Native American, land rights and the pipeline and clean water and all this stuff. They'll just jump on it, And that's what they do. It's
Oh,
like
did they end up, in Finland? Did the pipeline, did that thing end up going through, or they stopped?
the pipeline ended up going through.
When was this?
This was a few years ago. You have to realize this is federal land. So, we don't have as natives because it's federal land. We have some sovereignty to the reservation and the land, but we don't make the higher decisions. But I was just trying to make a point that the left has a propensity to get involved in things that they don't know about because they just want to be the loudest and the most seen, and they think that's their their flag they're flying. It's and so when Rain says it causes a divide, it does cause a divide. It causes a divide among people, not just white people, but Native Americans and other people that they get involved in our causes with when they need
Were
to be minding their own damn business and not getting involved with that kind of stuff.
were you for or against the pipeline?
I was against it.
But
I
Zyrax,
mean, most of the natives were against the pipeline going through.
Zyrax, I think what like Red Door is trying to kind of say is just like leftists aren't there to protest on the behalf of the Native American people. They're just there to protest on behalf of a feeling. They're not really down with the cause. They just want to be anti whatever.
But that's your opinion, though.
Well,
It,
you kind of seen it now, right? Let's say the Maduro thing. People are Americans are saying to let him go back. This is the thing where
What
you
did he
see
do?
instead because people are just hating Trump to hate Trump, right? So
No,
you see
so
that
you're
now.
saying what happened, and that was, you think that was legal? You think that was a good thing for America to do that? I thought Trump was for like no war,
The man's a dictator,
right?
and there wasn't a war.
that
And
wasn't a war.
Maduro was a
But
bloodthirsty dictator that killed thousands of people, tortured them, had crimes against humanity. There is a whole plethora, a list of things that he has done.
yeah, but that's not our country. Who are we to go into another country to try, like to do that shit too? Like I don't understand how you guys are for that.
okay,
Okay,
but don't
hey,
you see the? Let me say something, right? Don't you see the lack of logic there, where you're like what you just said, right? He's another country, but we care about immigrants, we care about Ukraine, we care about
You
the
guys
Middle
care about
East.
immigrants. Since when?
I
The
mean,
right cares about
left,
immigrants.
like the left actually cares, right? The left cares. The left cares about immigrants. But you don't care about people who are the suffering in another country. Don't you care about immigrants? Don't you care about people from Palestine, from Ukraine? I mean, like you care about people from other countries. But now, when the president is doing something that, whether whatever reason he has, it does help Venezuelan that their dictator is not there ruling over them.
Do you
So
care what Putin is doing? Do you
I,
care what Kim Jong Un is doing?
there's
yeah,
again it's got to be easier, right? Right. So how easy
Like,
would it
what are
be
we saying
to?
here?
Because no, you
I,
can't.
I don't care what happened to. I don't care what's going on with other countries. I care about what's going on in America.
I agree. I agree. But I'm saying the
We should
left,
care about our.
right?
We should care about our citizens, not
okay,
about other people. See, immigrants are people who's trying to get in, right? Trying to
But they're not
become
our citizens.
Americans.
They're not our citizens.
Yes.
Zyrax, I'm going to just tell it to you right now. You're more on board with Nick Fuentes than Nick Fuentes is, because what you're saying is no American interventionism. So we should pull all of our dollars out of Ukraine. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, and the left is a big Palestine fan.
So
No.
no money to Palestine, no Palestinian aid, no aid to any other country. All dollars. Zyrax is America first. Hallelujah. Shoot.
Yes.
NF Nick
Let's
Fuentes.
go.
Yes. I'm for America first. I
Zyrax.
care about helping, our people first and foremost.
So you're
That's not to say
anti-immigrant.
that I don't care about people, that doesn't mean that I don't care about like other people from, people from other countries or whatever. But yeah, I'm for
You're
America first.
anti-immigrant. You're anti-immigrant because that's America first. Put American people first. I got you, Zyrax.
I would like to say something about the
I'm sorry, go ahead.
immigrants. Now, what's happening on the reservations? We have the cartels moving in because they think that they can blend in with Native Americans and be a little less recognizable. And they're doing drug and human trafficking. I belong to a committee of missing Indigenous women and children, and we have a lot of women that just come up missing, and local law enforcement doesn't do anything. So, should these people be allowed to come on our reservations, hide out on federal land, and push drugs? We already have a drug and alcohol problem on the reservation, which we're trying to address. So we don't need, and then to have cartels running all these illegal businesses from the reservation. It's a problem on the Navajo reservation. It's a problem out in the plains. And the thing is, the reservations, some of them are fairly large, and we only have a few tribal police to monitor things, so it becomes difficult. So you think that's okay for illegal immigrants to come and do that?
I think she's asking Zyrax.
No, definitely not. Like I said, I'm for America first.
You should be more. You should be
I
more
am.
center right. You should be more center right.
This is
Cyrax,
why
you sound like a classical
I'm
liberal.
independent. No,
Okay.
I'm gonna independent because there's some stuff that I'm conservative about. There's some stuff that I'm I guess you could say like progressive. I'm for like social programs and stuff like that because I want to help our citizens. I'm not for
Yeah,
I'm for like welfare because I want to help our own people to get back on
Cyrax,
their feet.
I would look into classical liberalism. Like you sound like a 50s, 60s, 70s, Jimmy Hoffa era liberal. That's what I am. The problem is I never moved. I was on the left, and then the left moved so far that people think that I'm on the right. But I've
Same.
always leaned left, right? Like I'm more of that classic liberal. But if you look at someone like a Bill Moyer or all these people, he's been a liberal his entire life, but everyone claims that he's a conservative now. No, like the left has become the party of the academic elites, right? Where back when Red Door and my parents were young, you would see like a liberal left neighborhood, and you would see like a dentist and some factory workers, and everyone kind of living in the same neighborhoods, right? Now the liberals, you have the academic elites and the liberal left billionaires. Most working class people cannot find common ground with these academic elites that talk about like Palestine and and transgender rights. It's like, what does that have to do with the economy, right? Think about how disconnected that Kamala Harris and Oprah and all of them were with the working class. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that the far right and the Republicans are any better, but at least they were saying the word economy, you know? So I think that you might, because I'm an independent also. But what happens is that the left has become so disconnected from common sense to where you see these college students going to these prestigious colleges, then tearing up their degrees to say free Palestine. It's like, what are you? How am I as a working person supposed to find common ground with that? With an AOC or a Mom Dami or a Karen Bass, where they say all this craziness that just doesn't even make any sense. And then on top of that, you have the super far left pro-Palestine, pro-trans group that is a mouthpiece of the party, but who controls the party? The Cory Bookers, the Nancy Pelosi's, right? The corporate Democrats that are just as bad as the Republicans that the lefties say that they hate.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, there's extremists on both sides. That's what I was trying to tell Rain earlier, that yeah, I'm just not going to listen to an extremist. Like, I
Yes.
don't care what, and then one extremist nobody online says. Like, I get, who I choose to follow, or who I like how I choose my party. Like, I go by policy. Like, which party is more likely to promote or to pass, things that promote my values.
Okay.
I
Okay,
guess.
okay. Can I follow up on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said is
Let's
policy
try to
over.
let's try to wind it down, right? I don't want to keep
Yeah,
you guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be cool. I got like 10 more, 15 more minutes I can stay. So you're saying it's policy over party, but at the same time, you have been arguing with me about the party not being so bad. But then when you say Nick Fuentes is a bad guy, but then you have his mindset of America first,
No, no,
that
yeah, but then my definition of American first is different from Nick's.
but like the
N-
idea of America
I
first kind of came from you.
Yeah, yeah,
So
but just because we both share one interest, that does not mean that I agree with everything that he says.
I
He's
didn't
for he,
I
but that's
didn't
what you're trying to say, though.
no, I'm saying
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
with your worldview, you wanna like you want to point out all these things bad on the right, praise all these things on the left, but then praise the far right guy's philosophy while also saying don't pay attention to the far left philosophies. So my question for you, and I'm just asking this as genuinely as possible, who on the left can I look at that you would say is a great role model for me to just be like, hey, that's a
My
good
man, Bernie Sanders.
Hmm.
Burns.
Yes, Bernie.
No,
Bernie oh, okay, okay. I I have nothing to say after that. AJ, go ahead.
I can tell you though that even with the Democrats, you remember in 2016, Bernie actually got the nomination, but then they told him to step aside, and then Hillary jumped in there and lost. And if you look, that should have made you not be a Democrat right there. Not saying you are, but there was a town hall. You can look this up. Go put Bernie Sanders town hall, Minnesota. And he went to this town hall, and this guy raises his hand and says, Bernie, the only reason why I voted for Orange Man is because you weren't in there.
oh
And
no,
Bernie,
Look,
I want to say
I
before that is exact when Bernie was running, I was a Democrat. I was a
me too.
registered Democrat.
Me
When
too.
Bernie was running, I was going to vote for him
Me too.
for the presidency. And then I learned that the Democrats didn't want him. I was gone.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
done. That's
And
it.
well, then he goes,
I'm
how
done
many
that
others said the same thing? 3/4 of the entire hall raised their hands and said that they would have voted for Bernie. But the thing is, the Bernies, they're never gonna make it as long as the AOCs, the Cory, but I mean, sorry, the Cory Bookers and the Pelosi's and all the and the Chuck Schumers are there. But I'll just end on this. My mom grew up in the Jim Crow South. I think she's 71 now. So my mom grew up in when there was actually systematic institutionalized racism, right? And she grew up in the South because remember, segregation wasn't in the North. It wasn't on the West Coast. Only a small part of America was actually segregated. But we act like all of history was this way. You define Black history by a small part. My dad's from California. He never had experienced segregation. My point is, my mom's not a Democrat. My mom, who's 71, who grew up and saw the civil rights and everything, cannot identify with anything on the left these days. She can't. Like, these people are absolutely insane. She's not a Republican. She's more of an independent. But my mom cannot, when she hears younger people, women, Blacks, Hispanics saying some of the stuff that they say, my mom, who actually experienced real racism, real discrimination, who had her uncle was actually, hung and they cut him out of the tree and he survived. My mom is like, now is a better time to live in America as Black, gay, Native, anything else than there is, and all of us need to stop complaining. I just had this conversation earlier with her today. What I'm saying is, as an independent or as a conservative, you kind of get rid of that victimhood type of mentality and also realize, guys, look, we can't help people. I can't help people outside of my friends group, my family, and those in my immediate circle. If you want to help live the best life that you can live, be the best example that you can be, and that's it. But this whole caring about Palestine, imagine having such a lame, loser, unproductive life that you can care about stuff going on thousands of miles away, and that is a symptom of the left.
Yes. We're gonna try to wind down. So I'm gonna give people some last words, right? So, Zyrex, what's your thoughts?
No, okay. What do you think the role? What's the role of government?
Oh God.
We'll be here for hours.
Yeah, let's not.
Like I
It's for the people.
right, right. The government, it's there to protect and to help its people, its citizens. And so the reason why I consider myself more on the left is because, the leftist policies focus more on helping the, helping the working class.
Hmm.
That's
Well, I don't
I like.
see where the left has helped my people at all.
Do you
I
see where the
mean,
right has helped your people?
yes, I do, because I am from one of the poorest reservations in the United States. The annual per capita income is $6,512. It's, um, we deal with moldy walls in the schools, and it's very, very poor. And if the left cared about the people, all people, so much, then explain to me why Native Americans didn't even become U.S. citizens until 1924, and we were not allowed to practice our religion. It was banned. If we were caught practicing our religion or any ceremonies or anything like that, any part of our culture, we were arrested and put in prison. 1978, the American Indian Religious Freedom Act was signed. So when I was little, I used to think, I'd learn stuff in history class about how this country was, built on religious freedom. That's why they came over here to begin with. And I was like, well, we don't have any religious freedom. So you can understand where, the growing up, it was really kind of hard to separate what was happening in our world as to what was happening in the rest of the world.
And you can see why the left, blames white people, right?
It's
We-
not, you know what? I've gotten over this blaming white people stuff.
But then you're
I've
gonna blame the
got,
left.
yeah, you,
See how that
I'm
doesn't make
blaming,
sense.
you know, that's all part of history. I mean, we have to realize history is very complex and it involves many different cultures in many different areas. And there were a lot of things going on. You know, nothing aggravates me more than going seeing a protest and some lefty is standing there with a sign that says you're on stolen land. What the hell do they care? It wasn't stolen from them.
And they won't
It's
leave
like,
either.
Can I chime in,
Yeah,
please?
let's. I want to give a cast that just come in a bit of spotlight. So what's up,
Yeah.
Ruben?
Can you hear me okay? I just want to make sure you can hear me
Yeah.
okay.
yeah,
Okay. So this is for Red Door Woman. I'm also indigenous. Coach at the Oglala Lakota and Dine.
Oh,
And so um one thing, and this kind of goes for everybody too. Like one thing people need to understand is that the left starts at anti-capitalism. The left doesn't start at identity politics, and that's where you guys are getting it all conflated. You guys think that the left starts at trans rights or the left starts at um, you know free Palestine and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with that. The left starts at anti-capitalism. Those of us who are actually leftists, we don't view liberals or Democrats as leftists, as the left. Now, that may be the American left, right? But America has a very tiny window of global economic, political spectrum, right? And the American left is Democrats, but that's not actually left wing politics at all. Um, the United States has always been a right wing government, and it's this right wing government that has oppressed us Native Americans from the very beginning. Capitalism is a right wing system. There's no, you can't be a capitalist and be a lefty. And so the capitalist system oppressed us Native Americans. It took our land from us and kept us on a tiny reservation that they keep trying to take from us. That's the right. Now, we could we could we could go back and forth on whether or not Democrats are the left. I'm saying from a actual leftist perspective, they're not, right? At best, maybe center, but they're not the actual left because, like I said, the left isn't identity politics, right? Look at the Soviet Union, right? By all means, that was leftist, right? Because they were socialist. Yeah, sure, they were authoritarian. I'm not a Soviet fucking supporter like that. But they were very anti homosexuality in the Soviet Union, But that was a leftist government. Um, and so Red Door Woman, um, being a Native American and saying that the left hasn't done anything for us, um, Democrats haven't, but Democrats aren't the left. But
right.
Republicans haven't
Well,
done
says
anything
you
for us
though.
either.
Who are they? Who are you to say that they aren't? If they say that they are.
Did you just listen to anything I just said?
Yes, but
The
that's
left, the
your
left.
definition, though.
No,
Hold
no,
on,
no,
whoa, whoa,
no,
whoa,
no.
whoa,
That's
whoa, whoa,
that.
whoa. In the context of this conversation, though, we're talking about Democrats and Republicans. Now you're
Okay.
coming in and saying, well, I'm redefining towards the tail end of this conversation. which is fine. But what I'm saying is, you ask any card-carrying Democrat, and they will tell you that they are left, and now you're going to do that's like the no true Scotsman fallacy, right? They say that they're left, you say that they're not. Who am I to believe? If a person says that they're left, hey, well, who am I? Who or you are me to tell them that they're not?
All right, I get your point. I get your point with that. And like I said, all right. So in the tiny window of what American politics are, sure, the Democrats are to the left of that. Right, they're on the left side of that tiny window. People, everybody in America, right? We need to all understand that American politics are right wing, no matter which party you're in. It's right. We our whole political system is shifted to the right. So how we view politics is entirely through a right wing perspective.
Okay, I
Okay,
kind of
and go ahead, go ahead.
I kind of think I know what you're saying. You're basing politics off of economic policy more so than anything else. Fair?
Yeah, because that's
Okay,
what economic, political systems and policies are based on.
okay, so you're basing everything on economic policy. So what you're trying to say is no matter what, the American system, and so I think I kind of got it because I just had a conversation like this not too long ago. You view anything that is not anti-capitalist as right wing.
Well, there is a center, of course. There's a center, like Bernie Sanders, who's
But like
um,
Sanders is still a capitalist.
yeah, but he is for like uh, more regulation and more reform. So that's centrism.
So Bernie's a centrist to your worldview.
Yeah, social democrats are historically centrist.
Okay. So kind of like what I'm saying is like no matter what property ownership you are against,
It
correct?
depends on what you mean by property ownership. Like owning a home, that's personal property. There's a difference between owning the means of production and owning a home. There's a big difference there.
Okay,
Personal
but
property ownership, I'm not against. Like we should own our own homes, all
so
of us.
you're against small business ownership.
Small business, as in, and then there's another. That's another one with a lot of nuance. Is it small
Okay,
business that's
like
like
you've been kind of making like these blanket statements. So like even like when I like question you on these like worldviews, you're like adding like there's more nuance.
because there is nuance to everything. Not everything is black and white, and so there is,
You
especially
just
with
came
if we're
here
talking
and
about economic and political systems,
you
there's
just
a
kind
lot of gray area.
you just kind of came up here and said like leftists aren't this. That's a blanket statement. You didn't give any nuance for that.
That's true.
Okay, all right. You're right. You're right. I feel what you're saying. I was just kind of jumping in. I know that that you guys wanted to wind down anyway, so I was just trying to jump in and get some points across.
Yeah,
Um,
but like you brought up like points that and if AJ or DA wants to have this conversation tomorrow or something, I'm willing to hop back on and we can like further have this conversation. But it's kind of like I think you are basing things off of the Soviet Union, if I'm not mistaken.
well, not just the Soviet Union. There's a lot more than just that, but
But primarily the Soviet Union.
no. I mean, I'm
No,
not. I'm not a
like have you
Stalinist or
heard like
anything.
our
So
left is not even our left is like center to like
No,
European countries. You know that, right?
Zyrax, what you said was more European left. What he said was more Soviet Union left.
I mean,
I
what he
guess.
personally
well,
believe in.
Well,
Soviet
I
Union
guess.
left.
I guess my
I
point
mean,
is is that if you talk about like any type of anti-capitalist owning the means of production, meaning that things are kind of spread out evenly and there's kind of equal outcomes for everyone, it's like there has to be a group that decides what's fair and what happens to someone when they're taking more than what is deemed to be fair. Therefore, that
Yeah.
creates a hierarchy, and therefore that can lead to authoritarianism. Because, and also too, if the government owns the means to production, isn't that the biggest form of a monopoly there is? Because then you have one group who owns everything.
I'm not for the government owning everything. I never made it perfectly clear what my personal views are, right?
Well,
But I was just
hey
no, go
guys,
ahead, go ahead.
let's respect DA has had us on here for a long time, and he wants to wind down. Zyrax and Cat.
We could definitely do a
if you guys want to do a 2v2 debate with me and AJ and like next Wednesday.
I don't debate, guys. Sorry. I cuss people out if they piss me off. So I don't do
come on, AJ. Come on.
No. Because here's the thing. You guys, everyone on this panel has some sense, right? But you guys have seen, like, none of you guys have what I call TikTok debater syndrome, where like people, they're passive aggressive, disrespectful, or whatever, you know. So like, but I don't debate, guys, because I'm not the type of person. But I like open dialogue. Yeah. Like
I'd be down to have a conversation.
Well, I'll put this on the table because Zyrax, I don't want us to end on a bad note. I did enjoy talking to you. I do want to do it again. DA, thank you for having me on. Kaz, you kind of came in here at the end of it, but I kind of want to engage with you more. And Red Door, you know I always love seeing you no matter what chat we're in. So if you guys are down, let's try and find a time where we can make this conversation happen again.
Yeah.
So I'm down with that.
Yeah,
I'm
I just
down.
want to say once again, there's having grown up in on one side and then like being a classic liberal, kind of being on the left and then being kind of like forced out of the left a little bit. It's like I see a lot of people who don't want to give up the label of Democrat or leftist in order to say that they're like more conservative or that they're either like or that they're more independent. And what I'm saying is people like Zyrax, like you said that you were an independent more, which is awesome. Like, but I find now that people don't want to even have conversations with people who don't have said label. Like, oh, you're not a Democrat, I won't talk to you. You're not a Republican, I won't talk to you. That's happening more and more and more than ever. It's crazy. So the fact that all of us can have this conversation is really, really, really cool. And Red Door, once again, Red Door is my friend. I appreciate you always engaging. And I really, really, really think that the listening to testimony like Red Door is like people. I've seen people from my hometown in Seattle, and they'll march and have like, you know, indigenous land and whatever. And you're like, hey, do you know any Native Americans? No. It's like, why don't you go get to learn? Go talk to people like Red Door before you try and like act like you know everything about indigenous people because you took an indigenous studies class in college. Those are the types of people that I grew up with, where they'll take an African American studies class and think that they know all about my culture or Red Doors or Cass's culture. So don't fall for performative middle class white female liberalism. It's just crap. Anyways, I'm done. Thanks, guys.
No. It was good talking to you, AJ.
No, we definitely join the Discord. I'll try to find some time so we can all like. I would love because I'm a capitalist, right? So
of course you are.
I definitely. I'm definitely against people who are anti-capitalist. So I'm definitely down for having a conversation about it. But Yes, because I don't. I mean, I don't want to take you guys on forever because we can go on for another couple hours. And
Well, can I feel something real quick?
go ahead.
My channel is 2 subscribers away from being at 50, and then I'll be able to go live. So I'll be able to have more conversations like this on my channel. So if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel, get me over 50 so I can start doing some more stuff. I'd
Wait,
appreciate.
why didn't you tell me that you had a channel?
Yeah, I didn't
I'll
know.
plug yours on my channel too, dude.
No,
Put yours right
Come
here.
on, man.
like, I didn't want to I didn't want to do it, but I'm so close that it's like I'm at the time where I kind of needs to start chilling.
Yeah, I put your link in the bio in the chat. So
I appreciate it, guys. But great talking to you all, Cyrax. I hope to see you
Of
again.
course,
I hope
definitely
you
will.
anything I said personally, we just engage in ideas.
it's all good.
Yes, yes, we're good. We're good, Rain. I'll definitely subscribe too.
All right, thanks. Thanks everybody.
Yes, have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Richard. It was good
Good
to
night,
talk
Oh,
to you.
everybody.
Ray,
Yeah,
hit me up on Discord.
Yeah, you guys are amazing, right? Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for being here. Kaz, I'm sorry that you got here on the tail end. Would have been good.
Oh no, it's all good. Yeah,
So, but
yeah,
also
yeah.
your
Next time, next time.
yes, please please follow and we'll definitely. I do this every Wednesday, right? Every Wednesdays. So if you guys are here, definitely we'll cater a panel around anybody. So we'll definitely love a conversation. All right.
All right, cool, man. I will definitely. Well, I'm subscribed, so.
Awesome, awesome. Zyrax, thank you, my sister. Thank you for being such a fun person to be around, right? Thank you for coming by. I love you.
thank you. No, thank you for having me. And sorry for coming. I know I said I'll be up in like 10 minutes, but yeah, I had something that came up real quick. So,
It's all good.
yeah, it's always a joy.
No, I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for being
All
here. All
right,
right.
have a good
All right.
night. Thank you, Doc.
Bye. All right, guys. I love you. Right. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. I don't want to come. We're almost 4 hours, so I don't want to. This ain't no whatever podcast kind of thing where we would do like 6 hours of a show. It's too much, right? I don't want to keep you guys on here forever. But you guys are amazing. I love you guys. Yes. I will try to. I don't know when I could do it, but we'll definitely try to. Do more. Set up these kind of debates or conversations, right? It could be debates, conversation. It's whatever, right? Just having a fun, respectful back and forth, right? That's what I want to do. But that's it for tonight. You guys are amazing, right? I love you guys, all right? Later, guys.